This is our 4th of July marathon. We're in the middle of a case. We're working on perfect bladder balance. I do think this will be absolutely fantastic to use, and we added in Nogier C in order to work on the kidneys specifically. And we would just run that for 2 minutes. This may be part of what made the sound pop out, so just keep me posted on the sound, you guys, and we'll see what happens. We'll just pray for good things. Okay. Can hear me, give me a quick sound check. We're getting sort of mixed reviews here on the sound. You guys, it's nothing different than I've ever done with the sound ever. I'm not sure what's happening. I'm back. Okay, still is back. Doris doesn't have, Deanna has it now. I can hear you now. Barbara says yes, yes, finally. Okay, thanks, you guys. Thanks for hanging in. We lost about half the people, but hopefully we'll get them back. Hopefully people will come back. Okay, so thank God Cecilia and Tony are back because we've been working with them. And so, yeah, maybe that's why Cecilia wasn't responding. She couldn't hear me, right? All right, so there you go, you guys. That's the way to work on your case. That's the way to get into the kidney stuff. Now, Cecilia, if you shoot me an email, I'll send you those kidney panels as my gift to you as you're using the trial. So shoot me a message and I will give away those kidney panels to you as a thank you for being part of our class today. All right, so let's just keep moving and grooving, you guys. Let's now move on to Margaret. Let's see if Margaret has been able to rejoin us. I know she's been waiting. She gave me a call yesterday, and let's see how she's doing here, if she's been able to pop back in. Not just yet. So Margaret, we're waiting for you. Hopefully you'll pop back in there. So let's actually, there's Fiona. Fiona, welcome. I'm glad you're here. If anybody has a case that they'd like to share about our longtime users, if you guys have anything that you'd like to share about your using the program or any new exciting breakthroughs, I would love to hear from you. So do let me know. And I think what we'll do is, I know Cecilia's there with Tony. Let's go ahead and let's work a bit on Tony. So he's going to be our next up here. I don't see Margaret back yet, but we'll definitely get to her when she pops back on. So I'm going to put Tony's information in just a moment here. Actually, remember we talked about his true birth date, so we're going to get that up. So hopefully when I turn this picture off here, you guys will still be able to hear me. So keep sending me feedback on the sound so I know you guys can hear me. So I'm just going to enter Tony's first and last name sort of out of the view here, and that's why you're not seeing the camera view of the genius right now. Thanks everybody for joining us on the 4th of July to learn more about the energy of biofeedback. It's such a great pleasure to be with you and to have so many really just higher energy beings, you know, wonderful light workers on here who are looking to use light energy in a new way. And the genius is one of the most exciting and one of the most fun that I've come across. You can use this and connect it to a remedy plate, and you can create water remedies. You can imprint stones and jewelry, and you can just delight your clients who come to work with you through such great personalized information, through such easy information to share with them through our reports, or through even just writing down some of the things that came up with them, a personalized report that you do for them. And it's like, wow, look at all these things that came up for you. Look at all the information that we discovered for you. Okay, so I am going to brave the waters here. Cecilia, I'm going to unmute you here, and I'm hoping that we'll get to talk to Tony. Let's give it a try. I guess we just have to go with the flow of what happens.
Hi, I'm right here now.
Okay, try to turn down your volume a little bit because something's echoing there in the background.
There, I turned off the phone volume now.
Okay, perfect. So Tony, let's quickly, while we have good sound, let's get your voice recording. I'm going to cue you here. I'm going to count you down. I'm going to have you say your name and then just keep repeating A-E-I-O-U. Sound good?
I'm going to do it in Spanish, okay?
Yes, I love it. And I'll start recording in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. Tony Marquez. My intention is to find inner peace and understanding, calmness, and sereneness.
That was perfect. That was fine. We're still getting a little bit of feedback, but your intention is really the most important part of the equation. Did you guys have any questions or anything you want to check in with from the last session?
Well, we were just watching because we stopped hearing sound like almost immediately when you
Oh
started.
no. Okay.
So we were just watching and wondering why there was no sound.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people were having that experience too. Oh my goodness, I'm glad that I found out. So Tony, what are we working on for you?
Inner strength, inner peace and understanding and patience.
Okay. Okay. Got it. All
And
right.
inner
So
healing.
inner healing. Okay. Well, we'll definitely work on all of that. And Cecilia, we'll give you those kidney and bladder panels. So make sure you shoot me an email, and then I'll write you a little email summary of what I was talking about when you guys couldn't hear me. Okay.
Okay. I already sent you an email with my picture. I sent it during that.
Oh, good. Okay. Excellent. All right. So I'm going to come back and work on Tony for a bit. Okay. All right, thanks you guys. So Tony and Margaret and Cecilia, everybody got in touch last night. They're brand new to the program. Believe they're in Southern California, and really, really great to have you guys. And thank goodness, keep giving me the sound check so I know that you guys are good on sound. Sound came back. We can still hear you. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, Debbie. Maybe Debbie and Bill are hanging out today. Dennis, a warm welcome to you. Some of our really long time users, we have users who have been using this for 5-6 years. Some who just got it in the past year. Some are former Skio users or concurrent Skio users. They're still using that, and they're using the Genius at the same time. So really, really exciting, you guys. So for Tony's, sounds like a light worker, and he's really interested in optimizing what's going on with him. He wants to achieve more inner peace. So let's just see what's going on for Tony, just out of curiosity. Got the meridians lighting up for him. So what that means is that it's going to be beneficial for him to work on that meridian level. So when he sees that red, he's going to want to go into there and discover more about the meridians. The meridians are better defined in my mastery guide, but you don't need to know all about the meridians in order to just start working with them. You can use the mastery guide to enhance your understanding, but really anything that's reactive, you can balance, you can harmonize, and that's what it is. Even if you didn't know what any of this is, you want to use the harmonizing energies, because wherever you reduce stress in your energy field, you will gain an advantage. You will feel more like yourself. You will be functioning or operating at your own optimal frequency. That's what we're really doing. We're restoring you to your own divine energy, to your highest level of being, your highest level of resonance. So it tells us that the pericardium, the small intestine, and the governing vessel should be looked at, should be harmonized. Tells us that 7 to 9 is maybe a time when Tony won't feel the best. He could get really sleepy at this time, or he might not be able to focus. And some emotions that he might be experiencing would be joy, jealousy, or regret. And this might not just be because, hey, he's just jealous of something. It's because literally the imbalances in his energy field cause him to experience these particular emotions being out of balance more than others. So by balancing the meridians, you can affect yourself on a mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical level. So this is a wonderful meridian to start off with, and we could put it up in the Quicksap. We could just do the pericardium, and that would bring good benefit. The pericardium, if you look in my mastery guide, you can find more about it. It's known as the king's bodyguard. The pericardium is the heart's protective sac. Although it is not recognized as an organ in Western physiology, it is regarded in Chinese medicine as the fire energy organ whose special function is to protect the heart. It's a protective sac around the heart. And it does exist in physiology, but we just don't attribute any particular function to it rather than protecting the heart. Not only does the pericardium provide the heart with physical protection, its energy also protects the heart from damage and disruption by excessive emotional energies generated by other organs, such as anger from the liver, fear from the kidneys, and grief from the lungs. In the Chinese system of health, extreme outbursts of the 7 emotions are regarded as powerful disruptors of internal energy balance and the major causes of disease. Let me read that again. In the Chinese system of health, extreme outbursts of the 7 emotions, like, anger, fear, are regarded as powerful disruptors of internal energy and the major causes of disease. So why it's important to have a spiritual path and to do contemplation and work on yourself so you don't find yourself on one of these ends of the emotional extremes. Without the pericardium to protect it, the heart would be subject to injury and from the radical fluctuations in energy caused by every emotional up and down of the day. So it tells us that the pericardium could be out of balance if we've had some emotional outbursts, or if we're a light worker, this could be from working on other people. This is your shield from working on other people, where you're just absorbing all of that other person's energy. The pericardium helps to regulate the circulation in major blood vessels that run in and out of the heart. Emotionally, the pericardium energy is related to loving feelings, and it helps to really modulate that emotional energy. So it helps to shield you from others' emotional energy, but it helps you to sort of go over the bumps in the road when you're having emotional ups and downs. So it's a wonderful meridian, even just to balance singularly, like only if you just did just the pericardium. And you guys, a couple of minutes of harmonizing is very powerful. We often think, especially coming from a Western perspective, that we have to do things for a long time, that we have to use the highest power and the toughest, roughest frequency imaginable. But what this program teaches us is sometimes it's the subtle shifts, the very, very gentle taps, the very gentle pushes. So 2 minutes of harmonizing with the genius can be like an hour with another program because of the archetype encoded messaging within the program that both perceives what is needed and also gives back to that person's innate intelligence through the subtle frequencies. So there's really mysterious and wonderful things in the genius that help it to be very, very effective on a very subtle basis, in a way that works in partnership with your own energy field, doesn't threaten it or overwhelm it in any way. So we can do that just for a couple of minutes. So it's as simple as that to get started. You don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to know everything a doctor knows. You don't even have to know about anything that's within the program, although the mastery guide will help. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a copy of my mastery guide out to Tony and Cecilia so that they can dive deeper, and that's my gift to Tony, to give him that mastery guide, and Cecilia is getting the kidney panel. So I want to, do some giveaways to you guys for being here. I really, really appreciate you taking time to be part of the cases, volunteering. I love that Tony even sent me the pictures of his dogs. I don't think we'll get to those cases, but you can totally work on all of your dogs today and just take their picture, and you could record them panting or just breathing, and that would be fine. Or you can skip the recording and just get their voice. I used to be able to get one of my dogs to do the command speak, and I would record them barking. And what is absolutely amazing is you'll see their personality and what's going on with them reflected in the scans. And we need to have ways to help our, four-legged, wonderful animal companions, because they give us a lot and they need a lot. They're facing a lot. They're facing really, really high rates of cancer right now. And they're also our emotional partners, sort of absorbing a lot of our emotional energy. So it's good for us to work on them and work on ourselves. So I do encourage you today to continue to do work on them. Let's take a peek at the aura for Tony, and we'll just go ahead and we can do a quick peek here by hitting the aura button. I love to do this before and after a case. You guys send me your date of birth and your picture to my email. Go to awakentotalhealth.com. Send me your picture and your email, and I'm going to just go through the list there of all the cases, all that we can do in this time together, doing as many cases as possible. There's a beautiful rose-colored, I'm trying to take a picture. Wow, technology is just, oh, there we go. That was my fault. So beautiful rose-colored energy moving in here on this side of the aura. So this right side of the aura means this is the energy that he's pulling. Actually, it's usually energy that he's pushing out, but I'm almost perceiving it's energy that he's been sort of working on for the better part of the day. I don't know if he did any harmonizing yesterday. This is beautiful rose color, pure energy, beautiful creative energy. You see there's a lot of almost like a fluorescent quality to it. Whereas over here, it's a little bit more like physical stuff that's being worked on. And then there's some things happening around the higher chakras. I feel like this is probably going to be energy that's going to be shifting and changing and looking more symmetrical. But we do see a lot of higher energy colors. In fact, very, very interesting is that in a lot of ways, there's some similar colors to Cecilia's aura. And sometimes in relationships, you see these energies moving very, very close to each other. So now he's working on more peace, higher vibrational stuff. Let's work on some of the solfeggio tones for him. Let's see if any are really, really resonating for him. We've got 741, which is awakening of the intuition. And remember to use my mastery guide. Now, 741 is used for solving problems, discovering innovative solutions, and increasing self-expression. Now, that's interesting about the self-expression because the self-expression was really well reflected in the aura. That color is all about creative self-expression. That beautiful red kind of rose color right there is all about creative self-expression. And we see it here in that 741 that came up for him. Now, 396 is liberating guilt and fear. And it sounds like that's he's moving into those higher energies. He's ready to get rid of all that illusion stuff. So 396 is liberating one from fear, cleansing heavy feelings of guilt, releasing hidden subconscious obstacles. So that sounds like that's right up his alley. Now, you guys, when you're testing people, you're kind of like reading their mail. Like you really understand them on a deep level, even better than sometimes that they understand themselves. Okay, good. You guys are having lots of questions. That means that you guys can hear me. That's really good. Okay, I love it. And I'll get to your questions as well. So those are sort of the top ones. And then the 528 comes up kind of mild for him. We love that 528. That's the energy like of pure love. DNA repair, bringing about miracles. It's a great frequency for any chronic cases. But we're going to do a nice cleanse, a nice dust and clean on the DNA and then connecting him to his heart. You know, I'm really feeling called to do the sacred geometry and see if either the flower of life or the toroidal fields. So for him, we're working mostly on the biofield because what did he want? He wanted more inner peace. He wanted that nice clean energy. And I want to see, yes, those toroidal fields. That toroidal field is the toroidal field around your heart. The beautiful donut-like looking energy, right? That is the energy that could power up the entire planet on its own without the need for fossil fuels, right? That's the beautiful energy around our heart. The electrical activity around our heart is far greater than that around our head and our brain. This is the place of knowing, right, in our heart. So what we're doing, and again, what I'm trying to show here are what are the quickest, fastest ways that you can get up and running with the genius. Even today, when you're busy, it's the holidays, right? You just want to do a few things. Do all of it up in your quick zap. You've got the pericardium. We talked all about how he's sort of shielding himself from those, any sort of jarring, sort of emotional engagement, either something that was for him, maybe it was someone else, maybe it was a family member, or maybe it was just that he was witness to someone else who was having a very hard time or emotional ups and downs. So really healing that pericardium energy. And then we've got the 741 and the 396, clearing out any residual guilt and fear, the 528, and then the toroidal energy. So let's go ahead and let's work on those for a couple of minutes, and we'll get maybe some feedback. I guess since the sound is kind of iffy, Tony, let me know how it's all landing with you. What's your understanding, or do you have any comments? And then we can maybe see if we can check in with you by the microphone, see if that's actually working as well. We could turn the mute button. We could unmute you is what I'm trying to say in a very lengthy way. So we can do that. And then we want to recheck the aura. So when you're first learning about the genius, the aura is a wonderful way to be checking in and seeing how the person is progressing. So we're going to do just 2 minutes. Remember, 2 minutes of subtle shifting. You guys, Tony and Cecilia, if you're in touch with Margaret, maybe give her a little tap via text or call her and let her know we're back on the webinar. I would hate for her to miss all of this. So yeah, she was the one who turned Tony and Cecilia on today. So that's awesome. And okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that harmonizing for a couple of minutes, and then I know Hattie asked to be worked on. All right, Stuart definitely wanted to be worked on. See if Stuart's with us today. Talk to Stuart. So we'll get as many people on here, but pile on with your questions, you guys. I think that you guys did have some questions here. Why are the questions in gray? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Last week, I had a client that had pneumonia, or I think I saw the reactivity for pneumonia, and the genius said there was a 90% chance that there was pneumonia. Oh, I see. She did an entangled insights and said there was a 90% association with the pneumonia. This is Deanna, longtime SCIO user. And she went to the MD, and sure enough, she had pneumonia. Gosh, you guys, I tell you, I really do hear that a lot. So we never say anything on the genius as a diagnosis, but it's amazing. I mean, your energy field is part of your physical experience. So if something's in your energy field, it could be happening now, but it also could be happening in the future. So you'll always see something on the energy field before it manifests in the physical body. Now what we want to do is we want to go back to the aura. That wasn't the sound. I had to sneeze, so I wanted to spare you all. So the sound should be back now. If it's not, please let me know. We want to go back to the aura, and we want to rescan this and see how Tony's doing. So we'll look at the before, we'll look at the after, and we've been sending that toroidal energy, the solfeggio energy, those nice, juicy, higher energies. And we've gotten a beautiful, I swear to God, this looks just like his girlfriend's aura right now. That's pretty funny. So he's moved almost into this sort of a Zen place, like a very neutral space. Let's go back and let's look at the auras we've looked at today. And this was actually Cecilia's, and this is Tony's. Isn't that funny? They've sort of moved into like some kind of a symbiosis there, very, very similar energy. This is very, very peaceful. This is very, very Zen. This is very relaxed. So that looks really, really nice. Let's just go ahead and see if we can talk to these guys. Oh, I'm going to do it through Cecilia's thing here. And Cecilia, are you there? You guys there?
We're here.
Isn't that funny that your auras looked almost exactly alike?
Yeah, that's great.
Well, it goes to show you we were twin souls.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So did you have any experience or impression from the testing that we did for you?
Yeah, I've noticed the difference. It's kind of subtle, but it's more calming effect. And even Margaret last night, I sent her an email and see if she's coming back on. She even told me before she went to a function, she goes, "I felt happy, Tony," and people noticed that on her too when they saw her last night. She told me this morning.
That's wonderful. That is so great. Okay, well, you guys, let's keep talking, and I'm going to get a copy of the mastery guide out to you, and I'll check in with you a little bit later on, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. What a delight to have those guys on today, to have you guys on. So fun. So let's keep moving along, and just jump in there and ask for the scan. I think Stuart, you jumped in real early after I sent the email, and you wanted a scan, so we're definitely going to do that for you. Now, Stuart, I think you sent me your date of birth, so make sure that I do have that. If you can even shoot it through the chat. Okay, guys, I know the sound went out again, so hopefully we're good. I'll just do a quick sound check. Don't know. Yeah, I know the sound was gone again. Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? Hear me now? Hear me now? Yes, 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 yes. Sound check. Can you guys hear me now? Hello, hello, hello. Yes, okay. I guess we're just going to have to go with the flow today, guys. I do apologize. You're not going to see the picture for just 1 second. Um, but what fun it is to ride in this world of technology. So Stuart, we're going to work on you right now. If you have a microphone and we can record your voice, that's great. If not, we just will roll with the punches and do what we can. So we're going to put in Stuart's information. He really had a burning desire to be worked on today, and we'll do the best that we can. I love working with every single person, and I think you will too as you begin to learn how to use the genius, because it becomes just a meditation, an observation. You can become much more relaxed and just let the information flow, let it reveal itself to you. That's what's wonderful about the genius. You don't have to push so hard. It's easy. It's a matter of allowing. And it allows me to just be more relaxed even in what I'm doing. So I really enjoy it. And let's see if we can talk to Stuart and find out how he's doing. I'm going to get that picture back on right there. And if, again, if this microphone doesn't work, what can you do? Stuart, are you there? Hello, 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 Stuart. Can you hear me? Try talking to your computer there. Hello, hello, hello. No, okay. So we're going to actually just skip the voice and do the best that we can, given that we don't have a voice recording. I think we do have a picture, so let's go with that. And you guys can keep me posted if anything changes. Let's get his birth information out there. If anything has changed with the voice, let me know. Let me just monitor here. I have sound now. I can still hear you, but no picture. Okay, hopefully the picture is back. Guys, let me know if you can see the picture. We're going to take Stuart's picture here. We're not revealing anything about his last name, but we cannot get his voice right now. So there you go. Looks like a very nice gentleman. And we're going to hit begin analysis. And we're off to the races. It's as easy as that. You take the picture, you get the voice. Hopefully you can do one or the other. Guys, this is a quantum biofeedback. It's filled with innate intelligence. And with the innate intelligence, it often can permeate through what we mere mortals have. So if you don't have the voice, you don't have the picture, you know what happens? Actually, it often still works, and it works perfectly because it's through our intention. And there's a lot of energy contained in your birthday. Your first and last name and your date of birth is almost like a fingerprint of you guys. And if you've ever talked to an astrologer, when you're born, they know everything about you if they have your date of birth. So it's a very, very specific imprint. I can see the pic, I can see the picture. Okay, thank God. And sounds like you also are able to hear me. So we're working with Stuart, and I don't know, let's see what Stuart is working on. I know that he had a very high interest in being worked on today. And he said, I'm having an amazing time with a detox that went off the rails 10 years ago. Even though I want to be a healed healer, I could really use some serious help, even a small part of that. My doctor, my crazy doctor, asked me a month after he gave me something to bring out deep toxins. Okay, I don't understand that part, but it looks like he was going through a deep detox, which is wonderful. And he said that I was on the webinar, you mentioned my name. Okay, I think actually you're there now, Stuart. So I think you're good to go. So I'm just going to roll with it, okay? So he was doing a deep detox. When we look at Stuart in the biofield, we don't see anything too notable, but we do see the meridians are very low. So you guys, this low energy here with meridians, we want to think about depletion, deficiency, stagnation, maybe an energy that really could be moving, but right now is just not moving. We would like to have some more oomph coming out here. This means if your energy is too low, if there's too much depletion, then you cannot mount an immune response. And Deborah says, I'd like to get worked on. She's left her date of birth here, and we're going to go through the list. Like I said, we've got Hattie, and we've got Darlis. We've got so many people. You can email me. You can send me your information in the chat. You can go to awakentotalhealth.com and hit the Contact Us button and shoot me an email. You can see the specials that we have going on today for the 4th of July. Got some really awesome, over $800 in bonuses. So check those out by going to the 4th of July specials. You can always get in touch with me personally. I'll be around for the rest of the day if you have questions. Wendy has said that she wants to be worked on. Hattie, Lois, wonderful. We'll get to as many as we can. And Margaret, unfortunately, says she was shut out of the webinar. I hope we can get her back to the table and talk to her. Marie, welcome. Marie's joining us, I think, from the UK. It's getting kind of late there. Kelly's checking in. Hello, Kelly. I don't know what's going on with the kids today, what you're up to. Hopefully it's going to be a great day. Wanted to get this in before the barbecue and all the festivities. So Stuart, the meridians are kind of low, kind of depleted. He's got chemical sensitivities, which is really interesting. It seems like the detox was really spot on for him. Got something going on with digestion, and let's see what else. Vitamins. So maybe, you know, when you go through a detoxification, it can use up a lot of vitamins and minerals. So kind of interesting. We'll be thinking about that. I like to do this sort of overall viewpoint, and he's got something going on to be beneficial to balance the brain anatomy. In fact, let's just go ahead and start with that. Now, you guys, don't worry that you're losing your mind, losing your brain, anything like that. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Just, you know, the solution to everything is harmonize it. So whatever you see, wherever you see reds, wherever you see blues, just go ahead and harmonize it. We're going to work more in the quick zap today as a way to keep things simple, especially for new people. People are new to the program. People are new to the genius, new to biofeedback. So we're going to balance the basal ganglia. The basal ganglia is working really well when you just walk balanced and you're swinging your arms back and forth. All of that is working on the basal ganglia and making sure the basal ganglia is working correctly is when you see those arms swing quite naturally. Working on the brainstem. I'm sure if he's conscious, his brainstem is working, but it's saying that there may be not as good of a signal or resonance as there could be. So we want to work on that. Cerebellum, again, just part of the basic part of the brain, but we want to keep working on that. And that, by working on it, he may have more crispness and clarity. He may feel better. So we'll just work on that. Let's get a quick look at the aura. So it's a good starting place. I never remember to start with that because I get so excited about just seeing, oh my gosh, what's going on with someone. This is so exciting. So I'm always just diving in. I want to know what's going on. So I usually forget to do the aura right at the beginning. So let's get a quick check on that aura, see what's going on there. Okay, so what we're seeing here, beautiful green energy here, purple, blue, and a little bit of gray in here, gray over here. So it's sometimes hard to see on the webinar, but I think even I'm looking on the monitor for the webinar, and you can even see just sort of a total, like sort of a general, a bit of gray that we want to move out. It's not really good or bad. Nothing is really good or bad, but think about it as a sign where this is our opportunity to really get some momentum, to really get some positive momentum. You guys, go to awakentotalhealth.com if you want to send me your information. You're still welcome to do that. There's still plenty of time to do work on people and to get some good cases in here. So what was really interesting here was the chemical sensitivities, right? Because he said he had been doing a deep detox and he had been actually having some reaction to that. So we've got gasoline. There was a study on people in the United States called the National Human Adipose Tissue Study, or the NHAT study. It actually has been done over many years. You can look at it up online. It's done at different times. What the NHAT study shows is that almost everybody in the United States, probably on the planet, who lives in a Western sort of, developed areas, what I'm trying to say, has some type of benzene or a constituent of gasoline that they've inhaled that has actually gone into their lungs and then into their body and is now in their fat cells. So almost everybody has some gasoline byproduct in their body. Usually benzene is one of the most significant, that's known to be a carcinogen. Not good. Anytime you're smelling it, it's actually going into your lungs and into your bloodstream. VOCs, volatile organic compounds, are things such as paint solvents, okay? Carpet, when the carpet is off-gassing, that's a volatile organic compound. Your herbicides, of course, those are things that are sprayed on the ground, sprayed on the grasses, usually herbicides. Pesticides is what we think is going to, more of on what's on the fruits and vegetables. So this is something that's probably in the grass, or you see people who are really, really excited to get their condominium on the golf course. And I just, shake my head because I'm thinking to myself, my goodness, the last place I want to live is near a golf course where they're spraying all of those chemicals on the grass all the time. Perfumes, what I'm getting the impression here that Stuart, his natural liver methylation pathways are not as strong as other people. So either through things that he's experienced in the past, or just some general burden, maybe emotional stuff or something, is affecting maybe his ability to detoxify. So then we just go from here. Let's go to those meridians. I'd say the meridians would be the next most important thing to work on for him. So he's got the stomach meridian as being the most active one. This is sort of similar to where we saw that pericardium for Tony. So then go to my mastery guide and look up, what does the stomach meridian mean? Now you could already start to guess that the stomach meridian is related to the stomach and digestion. So, and I think we saw digestion come up as being very reactive for him too. You guys, if you can make your digestion better, you will also make detoxification better. So you have to clean up the digestion either through enzymes or juicing. You have to clean up the gut in order to get those liver pathways and those detoxification pathways working better. So in the stomach meridian, the focus of the stomach meridian is the digestion of foods and fluids. This is the meridian itself. The meridian is not the same as the organ, but sometimes the organ and the meridian line up and they do similar things. Now, the emotions most likely to be out of balance for Stuart are disgust and greed, just being out of balance. I'm not, that might be something that he's experiencing more than he usually would. The stomach extracts pure postnatal energy from foods and fluids, and in coordination with spleen energy, it transports food energy through the meridian system to the lungs, where it combines with air energy from breathing. So good breathing can actually help to turn that food into chi and to be better absorbed. That's why it's really great if you eat go out and take a long relaxing walk after your food. That's going to help to turn the food into qi. This is a function of the stomach not acknowledged in Western medicine, which focuses only on the biochemistry of digestion and does not recognize the bioenergetic aspect. So anytime the stomach meridian is out of balance, then that's definitely going to be affecting the stomach meridian is out of balance. It's going to be affecting detoxification. It's going to be affecting absorption. You know, the lung energy, I do want to do the second one that's listed there too, because the lung is really interesting in Chinese medicine. It's actually considered to be your relationship with the outside world. So your connection with the outside world, how you relate to other people, is all wrapped up in the lung meridian. So if you have someone who's super introverted, just doesn't like to relate to the outside world, that actually can affect their lung meridian energy. Kind of interesting. So the lung is known as a metal energy yin organ. Pardon me. Gotta get okay. There we go. Known as the prime minister, the lungs control the breath and energy and assist the king heart with the circulation of the blood. Okay, sorry, I got distracted there. The internal medicine classic states energy is the commander of blood. When energy moves, blood follows. So let me say that one more time. The internal medicine classic states, the Chinese medicine classic, energy is the commander of blood. When energy moves, blood follows. Blood is the mother of energy. Where blood goes, energy flows. Kind of interesting when you think about exercising or moving your body. The intimate relationship between breath and pulse, blood and energy is the basis of Chinese breathing exercises. So that would be good to look into, right? Breathing directly controls the autonomic nervous system, and this relationship is the basis for almost every system of yoga and meditation. By regulating the autonomic nervous system and governing energy and pulse, breathing forms a bridge between body and mind and may be utilized to keep the two in balance. So profound and so important to keep that lung energy balanced. So let's include it up here. And then we're probably going to just add one or two more things, because you can see that just a few things gets really, really deep, really fast, and you can make a profound shift. Okay, so I'm getting a bunch of emails from Stuart here. It's hard to read all of them. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to read all of those, Stuart. I'm just going to do my best to help you. Maybe we can talk afterwards. And he just says, I've had a chronic infection since I was 12, and now he's in his late 60s, or he's 70. Okay, and that is why I attempted to get a rampant system under control with turpentine. So sad that I didn't get more in touch with what you're sharing with me now. Well, the genius can be a wonderful truth teller and a wonderful raiser of awareness. That's why it's so great. So let's see, I think we want to just add in some solfeggio tones. Seems like we need some magical energy. So when you want to add in your magical energy, you're going to add your solfeggios or your nogiers. These are really movers and shifters. So you guys add that in, use that more actively in your sessions. And it does definitely sound like there's some heavy emotional stuff here. And this is 396 is great for that. So 396 liberates one from fear, cleanse those heavy feelings of guilt, release hidden subconscious obstacles. It sounds like it's really called for here. And then we've got 963. Guys, look in my mastery guide for more information on this. 963, this frequency enhances the experience of oneness, of connecting to your own perfection. It sounds to me like your greatest breakthrough is going to be through really connecting with your own divine self, really going beyond all of these sort of physical afflictions and challenges that have come up, you know, in your life and have been there for so long. So this can also be thought of the return to oneness. To feel more spiritually connected, consider running this frequency. Of course, meditation is good too. So that's it, you guys. I mean, that's all you really need to do for 2 minutes. And that's a very, very complete session in and of itself. So I'm just going to tap that button right there. So really just very short, to the point, a few select frequencies. And you guys, that does and can make a profound difference. All right. All right, so we've got a few more people volunteering. I see your screen. Thank goodness. I have the sound. That's really good. All right. So anybody who's been using the Genius for a while, like, Fiona or any of our other really gifted practitioners, if you have anything that you'd like to share, any cases or anything you'd like to present or let us know about, we'd love to hear from you. We heard from Debbie on this past week's webinar. It was really wonderful to hear her experience since using the Skio for so many years. And Deanna said that there was something that even another biofeedback software didn't pick up on, and the Genius picked up on it instantly. And that's my experience. It's super easy to check in. It's super easy to get the information that you need, and very, very profound when you get that information. So let's see. I don't know if Lois is still on here. Let's see if Lois is with us. Darlis is here. Hi, Darlis. Fiona's here. Lynette has joined us. Hi, Lynette. Linda's here. Linda M. Welcome, Linda. Let's see if we can get Lois, and we're going to talk to Lois a bit here. Lois, see if you can unmute yourself on your side. Don't know if you can do that. Give that a whirl. Give that a try. If you want to get tested today, send me your picture. Send me your picture via email. We got a whole bunch of people waiting to be worked on today. So I think Deanna will jump in there and we'll work on you. And Deanna's we'll maybe find out a little bit of how she's doing since she's getting the Genius and adding it as another biofeedback tool to what she's doing. Now we get here that Stuart has responded positively, and that means he's made a subtle shift, a subtle but powerful shift. So let's go ahead and we'll go to the aura, and let's go ahead and get a check-in on the aura and see how it's going. I love this new recheck function on the aura. It makes it way, way easier to sort of monitor the aura as we're moving along. So, and we got Deanna on deck here. We're going to check in with her momentarily, see how she's doing. We're going to get her voice and picture on. And beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. We see a lot of angelic, divine energy coming in here, you guys. Use those higher energies. Use those solfeggios. And don't worry, Kendra, I have not forgotten about you, my dear. We will definitely work on you. We want to find out what's going on with your dad. So this is beautiful, you guys. It's subtle energy. It's subtle energy that can clear toxins. It's subtle energy that can clear our most profound emotional blocks. It's subtle energy that can overcome the things that we often think are so difficult, are so overwhelming. And so it's the time and the place for subtle energy, you guys. That's really the name of the game. So Stuart, I hope you keep using the Genius. If you need any help, what I'm going to do for you is if you have the Genius downloaded, I don't know if you've gotten it yet, I'm going to gift you my toxic exposure assessment and toxic exposure remedies. So get in touch with me so I can send those to you, whether you have the trial or you have the full version of the Genius. And that is just an absolutely gorgeous, spectacular, beautiful, high vibrational pink energy coming in there. Your angelic forces bringing down that divine energy to you, just like we looked at with that solfeggio. Looks wonderful. So, someone can receive frequency, you guys. We've known this in homeopathy for a long time, and they can start peeing out their toxins. It doesn't just take chelation. You can make an energetic shift and start to release those toxins. It's really, really profound. So I really salute Stuart for being with us today and for having the courage to be part of our class. So hang on, you guys. You're just going to not hear the sound just for 1 second while I switch gears here. So give me 1 second. Okay, so you guys, so we're going to switch now to Deanna. Let's see if we can actually talk to her. So let's unmute let's unmute. Deanna, are you there? Wow, I just can't get anybody today. Hello, hello, Deanna, are you there? Can you run to your computer and talk into your computer if you're there? Deanna, hello?
Hello.
Hello. Oh my goodness, thank the Lord. Okay, so good. How are you today?
I'm pretty good.
Tell us, you got the Genius maybe about 4 or 5 weeks ago?
Yep. And
Tell us a little bit
I'm
about how long you were doing biofeedback before and what observations or experiences you've had with the Genius since that time.
I've been doing biofeedback for 16 years now. Started with the QXCI, moved my way up to the Eductor, and I wish I would have found the Genius a long time ago because it's just phenomenal the amount of information I get off of it in such a short amount of time and the accuracy of it.
And you were telling us a little bit about, tell us a little bit about that pneumonia case.
And she came in and she said she thought she had pneumonia, but wasn't sure. And I ran her on the Eductor, and pneumonia was balanced. Her lungs were a bit stressed. I ran her on the Genius, and there was a 90% compatibility with the pneumonia frequency. And she went to the doctor, and the doctor listened to her lungs and said, "I think you just have bronchitis." And my client said, "No, I think I have pneumonia," and demanded a chest x-ray. And sure enough, she had pneumonia in her left lung.
That is amazing. Wow, thank God that you tested her.
Yeah, because otherwise she would have just listened to the doctor and thought she had pneumonia or just bronchitis.
Yeah, and that's pretty serious if you miss pneumonia.
And
Well,
even the medical doctor apologized to her for being so sure it wasn't pneumonia, and that she was glad that the client persisted for the x-ray.
that is wonderful. That is amazing. I mean, just that story alone is amazing. Has there been any other sort of stories or experiences of note that come to mind using the Genius?
I have another client who, she's kind of a medical mystery. All of her tests come back negative. Nobody knows what's wrong with her. She's been seeing, even the acupuncturist she'd been seeing referred her to me because he couldn't figure it out, because she'd be going along, getting better, and then crash and basically have to start all over. I had her on the Eductor, and it was all meridian hormonal pathways. And I put her on the Genius, and the Genius indication was Lyme.
Interesting.
No Lyme shows up on the Eductor. I work on her every week, and Lyme shows up every week. But still, with the Eductor, no Lyme shows up.
And what happened when you tested on the Genius?
It's Lyme all the time.
It's Lyme all the time.
And then
That's amazing. That is amazing. I mean, just such true resonances. You are going to become a huge help to that, you know, in your community for medical mysteries for people who don't know what the heck is going on.
yeah, I recently branded my business as the Stress Detective.
The stress detective. That's brilliant.
Yeah, and
That's
now that I
brilliant.
have the, I feel like I've got Watson right next to me.
Which is the Genius.
Yeah,
That's
Sherlock. I'm
awesome.
Sherlock. My genius is Watson.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, well, hey, let's work on you. Let's get your voice recording and then let's talk a little bit about what's going on. So first, let me just get your voice. I'll cue you and I'll start recording. I will start recording you. Hang on, give me 1 second here. In three, oh, sorry. 3, 2, 1, I'm recording.
My name is Deanna Stanley Chalk, A-E-I-O-U, 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 A-E-I-O-U. I believe that I have a physical parasite within my colon. A-E-I-O-U.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, yeah, so tell us a little bit about that whole parasite piece.
About 6 weeks ago, I went to my grandson's birthday party and drank their water, and I've been having diarrhea. I had a really bad bout of vertigo. Um,
Oh no, this started right after you, like within 48 hours of drinking that water there?
um, the diarrhea started. The vertigo happened, gosh, 3 days later. And my healthcare practitioner identified uh, a toxin in my kidney and giardia.
Wow, Giardia? I mean, was it well water or something?
It's a small town up north. I
Gotcha.
it was city water, but it was at the bowling alley.
Boy, I mean, I hardly will trust anything that comes out of a tap. So,
I
anyway,
got my own water with, and I ran out, and I just sorry
thought
that
how bad could it be, really?
you think it's coming out the gun, it's going to be filtered.
Oh my goodness. All right. So,
So
and just loose
vertigo
stool.
has vertigo has resolved as soon as my healthcare practitioner um,
Mm-hmm.
uses another energy medicine modality, and the kidneys are clear, but the diarrhea hasn't stopped.
Oh, that's terrible. Okay, well, let's actually look. Um, we're going to look at infection assessment and see what comes up there. How are things going with using the testing panels, the natural health testing panels?
Very well. I'm learning my way around. There's just there's so much.
Excellent. Okay, I think that came up there. So what we want to do is put in from those panels, and you have these two, Deanna, the infection assessment. Ooh, the infection solutions is a 14. That's interesting. So when you see that low number, you guys, that's really means that there's something in there that's really attracted to that person's energy field. Oh my gosh, it says Lyme. You said Lyme all the time. It's coming up for you now.
Yeah, I think my dog has Lyme's disease.
Okay. All right. So we've got those. Um, got a lot of stuff lighting up, but I was looking specifically just to see where Giardia was. I do see it there, but it's not lighting up here at least as being super, super high. Let's see where it was. It was somewhere. What were you going to say?
The genius had identified the crypto parasite
Oh yeah,
brain.
Cryptosporidium and Giardia, they're kind of like cause similar symptoms. Like they kind of cause that. I don't have Cryptosporidium on here. You must have used it. Did you use it in the Entangled Insights?
Yes.
Well, let's talk a little bit about how all that works. First, let's just look at infection solutions, and we'll sort of backtrack here. So let's see what comes up for you. Some green and black walnut, which is good for all parasites. That's like sort of the Hull de Clark. Some Ganoderma, which is a Chinese herb. Elderberry, really good for any cold or flu. Garlic, always coming up here. Usnea is good for fungal infections. Well, a lot of these anti-infectives want to come and hang out with you. Oh, Manuka honey is a great
Problem
one
is
for
that
any infection. Hmm?
they're already hanging out with me,
Oh,
and
are
I
you taking some of these things?
am hoarding them.
You're hoarding
Time
them?
for them to go away.
Yeah. Um, Golden seal might be a really good one for the crypto or giardia, or whichever one it is. Either golden seal, or we use Oregon grapefruit because it also contains that berberine that we're looking for. So let's actually go to a good way to do this where you're checking the Entangled Insights is actually to go to, for example, the body systems or today's stress. Let's look at today's stress. And sorry guys, no, it's not working very well there. So I would go into today's stress and I would try to look at, in particular, the immune system, and then I would compare the immune system to the actual entangled insights. So let's do that. So let's do immune system in the entangled insights. And then what I often do is bacteria all. What did you do? Did you do bacteria all, or did you check it Giardia individually?
I checked Epstein-Barr. I went in and looked at brain infection and checked Epstein-Barr, and then I typed in and I just did virus all.
Oh, those are good. All right, well, let's do a couple of those. So if you've never used Entangled Insights, you can usually, now why isn't Giardia coming up? It should, whoop, not spelling it right. GI should, all right, maybe we have to do, let's just do bacteria. Does it come up here? Gardnerella, we don't want that one. What about crypto? And also, all right, so let's just do bacteria all and see what comes up. So we can do bacteria all, and it'll scan the entire database of bacteria, and then we can see where the resonance or match is here.
I did the parasite assessment.
Oh, you did my parasite assessment. Oh, that's a good one. That's actually what I think I was looking for. I was trying to, that's what I wanted to actually do. Okay. I guess some ones that are of note here that comes up is, it says E. coli, Shigella. There is definitely some pieces here that seem important, you know, that are related to some type of digestive infection. But let's go back here. That's a good idea. Let's go do that. Let's go to the libraries, which are somewhere here, and then let's go to parasite assessment and see that one. Well, it definitely says parasites. That's interesting.
Well,
so
I worked on myself this morning, so it probably isn't going to come up again. So it's gone from red to the yellow.
Oh, it's gone to the yellow, which is good. It does say some other, I mean, not all of these have to be 100% spot on. You're not going to have all of these at one time. But what I often do here is when I'm curious or I'm trying to find out what the highest priority is, that's when I'll put these things down into the Progressive Insights and let Progressive Insights sort of work out what is the most important infection. You guys, some of these have similar frequencies. So if they have similar frequencies, then they're going to resonate. They're all going to be resonating very, very similarly, which is why you can see them all come up. But we can go here and we can actually type in parasites all, and let's see what happens there. Wait, does that not exist anymore? Is there no, didn't there used to be thing parasites all in here? I'm just dreaming that. And now let's see, there should be bacteria all, virus all, fungus all, cancer all. So maybe it's actually that parasites all is not in here. It's only viruses and fungus. So a parasite would be under bacteria. All right, well, let's skip that for now. I thought in my infections panel somewhere I had Giardia and Cryptosporidium, but I'm just not seeing them. I just want to try one more thing, which is this infection assessment. I just want to see what comes up here. Again, it says fungus. So are infections something that you're dealing with fairly often?
No.
No, you usually don't.
No. I rarely. I believe because I sit in my biofeedback room seeing 20 people a week, I'm getting 20 sessions a week.
Yeah.
So I stay really healthy. It's just since I drank that darn water.
Gotcha. Okay, so you got to do something to get back on track.
And I know I do believe that I have the Epstein-Barr virus.
I think everybody does to some degree, and we can even test that dermatomal program. Did you got the dermatomal program, right?
I don't know. I think so.
That's a new one that we just had in the last couple of weeks. Let's go ahead and look at that a little bit and see what's coming up there. Let's look in the under the spinal nerve viruses. All right, this one says varicella zoster, which is associated with shingles. So,
I don't have the dermatoma one yet.
okay, yeah, this is one that just came out. Yeah, it says the Epstein-Barr, like really, really high resonance for sure. Well, let's actually do the progressive insights and just see what comes up when we sort of shake and bake this all. Let's see what the highest level of infection comes up. Look at that. There's that Giardia.
Yep.
I don't even remember putting it down into the main hold tray. That is so funny. It just sort of snuck up on us. So yeah, there it is in there. The rotavirus is like a flu virus. So, but it does look like golden seal would be really good. Do you know golden seal that sometimes they used to have it like echinacea and golden seal together?
Yep.
Penny's asking where to get the libraries. Penny, go to my website, awakentotalhealth.com, and just type in any topic that you're interested in. You'll see a library come up on the website, or just hit the contact us button, and that'll come right to me, and I'll help you to choose the ones that you want. So if you go to awakentotalhealth.com, all of those are on there, and I can help you with those, and I can give you a special discount for being part of our class today. So yeah, I think the golden seal would do a world of good for you. That looks like it would be a really good herb for you. Just looks like you're working
Wow.
through getting that immune system strong. Looks like a lot of infections are sort of working on you energetically. They may not be affecting you or might not be like frank pathology where you're actually experiencing them, but it looks like you're definitely getting your immune system just boosted a little bit will be really good for you.
Before they take me down.
Now, you should be doing better and better with all of this wonderful biofeedback, but it's really great to hear a longtime biofeedback practitioner like yourself having such good results and finding like the ease of use, that's easy to use, it's pleasurable to use, and that you're getting really spot on results for people.
Yeah. I I have a client that I've been seeing for a couple of, 5 years on and off, and she always gets sick after having a biofeedback session with me. She's just so sensitive. And last night, she was, we've been trying to figure out what's been going on with her, but she's, afraid to come in because it always makes her feel crappy. And so I
Yeah.
said, "What I've got." And I showed her my Genius last night, and I believe um, it's always been her ileocecal valve. She had it ever since she had a hysterectomy. She's had a problem with this ileocecal valve, and the indication from the Genius last night was ileocolitis. And looked that up, and it was absolutely spot on.
And what, ileophilitis?
Ileocolitis.
Oh, ileocolitis. Oh yeah, colitis. Yeah, absolutely. And it was spot on for what was going on for her.
Absolutely. And it was just like light bulbs went on. And it was like, well, of course, okay, well, this is why this is happening, and this is happening, and that's happening. And she was so happy. And I worked on her for about an hour, and she's like, "There's stuff moving in my colon. It
Wow.
hasn't been months."
Wow.
Yeah. And I would have never thought, I'd never heard of ileocolitis. It's a
Yeah, I mean,
type
I
of,
think we usually just call it colitis, but it has to do with a certain area of the colon, which is around the ileocecal valve that could become like, which is basically the ileum. The ileum and the colon connect at the ileocecal valve, and ileocolitis would indicate inflammation in that particular area.
yeah. But I mean, she's been to the doc. She thought she had a tumor. I mean, she just goes all the way there. And it's like, well, Yeah. It just,
Well, that's what I love about
but I-
biofeedback. I mean, you are the stress detective. Like, I think every doctor in your area should be referring to you to sort of help to get through, any medical mysteries, anything that, you know, people really need to know, that information that you're providing for them.
I have 2 medical doctors that see me
Oh, good. That's
and
great.
and send their family members in. It is pretty awesome. Um, I gave the medical doctor the medical medium book
Mm-hmm.
after I identified the stress of Epstein-Barr and her daughter, and she was just amazed. And so she sees me people all the time.
Well, that's amazing. Well, it looks, this it's funny, this sort of reminds me of liver stuff, like really irritated bile stuff going on in this kind of area, but we're seeing a lot of beautiful green healing energy for you kind of coming into your energy field. And I think getting on top of that golden seal, or even just running the golden seal frequency, and it's in your infection solutions, in your customized panel, in your natural health panels that you got from me. I think running that for yourself would be very, very helpful.
I will do that.
Deanna, thank you so much for being a part of today, and thank you for sharing with other people your experience of using the Genius. It's been awesome to hear about it.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Very, very cool. Okay, stick around a little while longer. It's so good to have her on the class today. It's really nice to have these experienced practitioners. Now, I've been getting very strong urging from Kendra. Kendra wants us to work on her father. So let me see if I can find that information, and maybe, Kendra, we can get you unmuted here and even talk to you. It may not work. I know technology doesn't always work perfectly. Let's see if we can talk to Kendra. Kendra, are you there? Hello, hello, hello? No, no
Hello?
microphone. Oh, there you go. Well, heck, Kendra, how the heck are you?
Good, good. My
Well,
dad's
tell
not
us.
here. He left early, but
Yeah.
um,
Okay.
the things I've been doing the scan on him for quite some time since I got the machine, and his platelets are still low, and his oxygenation is still a problem. He had
Well, to start from
last
the
year,
beginning. Yeah, I was going to say,
okay,
start from the beginning and tell us a little bit about
his
what
issues.
age range he's in
Okay.
and what's been going on with him.
He's 86. Last year was a surgery he had in June, which was a Gore-Tex sleeve put over his aorta so it would not burst. And the year before, he had open heart surgery, which was a redo, which the surgery was about 9.5 hours. And then in December, he had a double hernia. So he's been a hard worker over his life, his strong constitution, and just trying to. I keep on getting Ebola on the machine, and I've ordered some humankind supplements to help to get rid of that.
Gotcha. I mean, has he seemed to respond well to that?
To humankind, yeah, we do that, and we do the acupuncturist and um, evergreen herbs and apex products, and he seems to respond well to all of those. And I don't know if people believe in the foot detox, but he's done the foot detox baths, and that seems to help. So he seems to respond to all the stuff, and he still has good energy. He laid sod this last week, so that's pretty good for someone his age.
So what's your main desire? Like, what would you like us to work on, or what would you like me to help with in working on him today?
To figure out how to get the platelets, um, the doctor's wanting him to go in for the gamma globulin IV, so he's doing that. But then it boosts up to maybe 90s, and then it gets down to 50s. Years ago, when he had the first heart surgery, the doctor gave him, and I don't know the name, it began with an H, a long name for a drug that is for blood pressure, high blood pressure, that he probably did not need, but the doctor gave it to him, and finally the doctor finally, once they got really low, like 49, he sent him to a cancer doctor, and both cancer doctors thought his platelets got low because of that drug. And he just went to the acupuncture to try and flush that out. We had a pill, and he put needles in to try and help flush that out of his system.
So
But
the
this
acupuncturist tried to build his blood?
or no, to flush out that drug. He puts it in his
Oh,
energy
gotcha.
field, and then he tells your energy field to get rid of that. But want to try and see what else can be done for his platelets.
Okay, so it says platelets are low, which is as a result of the drug that he was, the blood
That's what
pressure drug.
Right, that's what we think. And the blood
Hmm.
pressure drug, he stopped taking that back like in 92, 91, once he
Hmm.
realized he didn't really need it. Back then we believed whatever, was said to do.
Hmm. Okay, because it says that like immunoglobulin, IV immunoglobulin is used when, oh right, when immune deficiencies like immune thrombocytopenia. So we don't know why his platelets are low, but that's why the gamma globulin is being given.
Yes.
And your doctor doesn't know why the platelets are low.
No.
Okay, gotcha now. And his
And
main issue beyond everything else that he's been dealing with, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, you guys didn't have the picture there. There you go. I don't know why that went back off. So now you have the picture there, you guys, you can see what's going on. The main thing, so that's the main thing. Otherwise, he's feeling okay, even though he's had these different challenges over time.
right.
Okay. All right. So let me go from there and I'll come back in, jump back in when I have questions, okay?
Okay. And then the Ebola, I don't know if Dr. Carolyn Mine has where to put essential oils to help with the Ebola, because that keeps on showing up. And a
Uh-huh.
chiropractor tested him, and she got that was a problem energetically. So we'll see what if you come up with that today.
Okay, maybe Kelly has some ideas on that because she's on and she always knows some different points to use, some different infection, virus, bacterial points. So maybe she'll have some ideas for us. But the main thing we're trying to do is establish why the platelets are low and what can we do about it. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay, let
Thank
me do
you.
my magic here and we'll come back and talk a bit. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good case, just like Deanna talked about, sort of the medical mysteries. How can you dive deeper into all of that and find out more about what's going on? How can you get to that? Sometimes you have to create your own sort of customized categories as a result to do that sort of that testing. Well, it's interesting. It says that he has some chemical sensitivities, and I wonder, is that part of the whole story? Looks like some air pollution. Now, I know you guys are in the Denver area, which is known for some of, don't you guys have some inversions and stuff? Have some challenges in that Colorado area. But I think you're not in Denver. You're in maybe, I don't remember, Colorado Springs or something, but you'll have to let me know. He also seems to have some formaldehyde. That would not be good. Paint fumes, VOCs, perfumes. I guess let me know in the chat section, Kendra, if any of that makes any sense. Cigarette smoke. Did he ever smoke? Let me know. Maybe not. Let's at least find out. So minerals are in red, so let's see what's going on here. Potassium, one of the, it's so funny just if you go back 100 years, how different healing was. So now it's 2018. If you go back to like 1918, 1920, 1930, they were so far ahead in a way of where we are now. They used to treat most illness and infection just trying to alkalize the body. And so if you look in some of those old books of healing, they're actually talking about giving potassium broth, which is like a potato and vegetable soup, and giving that potato and vegetable soup as a way for that person to heal. So he needs some potassium. I mean, I'll almost be certain of it, even though this isn't a diagnosis, even though that this isn't really about excess or deficiency, it's really about reactivity. Looks like he needs some So potassium, again, I'm not making a diagnosis, it's possible. And potassium is very, very deficient from most Americans' diets because they're not getting enough green leafy vegetables, they're not getting enough plant-based foods. Zinc looks like it would be good for the immune system. Molybdenum is good when there are heavy metals. I'm pretty sure there's been some type of a toxic exposure here that is part of the issue. He's taking a diuretic. He's probably taken some type of a loop diuretic. Says he smoked prior to 1992, worked in construction, so he's dealt with chemicals. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. And you know, you guys, when you have too much toxicity, that can lead to heart conditions. That can lead to high blood pressure. All those toxicities have more implications than, say, just cancer. Those excess toxicities affect us in any number of ways. So it's really interesting. And of course, they can affect the immune system. They take a tremendous toll on the immune system. This tells us about calcium. Is he on any calcium channel blockers? Do you know if he's taking a drug like amlodipine or some type of a calcium channel blocker? Boron, chromium is usually for blood sugar. I'm almost wondering if it's that toxic form of chromium. It's always hard to know. So, but that's interesting about the potassium. So he's probably losing too much potassium through the loop diuretic, and that's not good because that actually helps you to control blood pressure. And the biggest irony we've been talking about in the blood pressure and kidney class is the fact that you can lose the very minerals that you need through these drugs. You need them to actually keep your blood pressure low, and yet they're so consumed with getting that number down. They have to get the number down. Doesn't matter any of the implications. They have to get that number low. So they cause the fluid to leave your body, and now the number is low, but now you've lost a significant amount of minerals that you need in order to really regulate blood pressure without a medication. And it really is a shame. You know, it is a terrible shame about the current state of allopathic medicine, you guys. The best you can do is stay as far away from it as you can. And if you can't, then use biofeedback to help to clear some of the toxic effects of the medications. You can even enter the prescriptions that people are taking into the Genius. And when you run those, it'll help to clear some of the toxic effects of those particular medications. You can even put it in as clear toxic effects of benazepril or whatever the medication is. So you could definitely do that. The problem is once people are on these medications through their doctors, it is hard as heck to get the doctors to withdraw the medications and stop the prescription. And many doctors, if you have parents that the doctors are seeing, boy, they don't even want to talk to you about the medications or reducing the medications, or they get very angry and upset. And it's kind of hard to think that your life and that person's life is in that person's hands, because if they write the wrong prescription, if it's excessive, I can tell you for sure that there are often a lot more downsides than there are upsides to a medication, and that's never typically discussed. So your dad has a lot of spinal energy blockages, and this would be really a great panel to run for him on a regular basis. This will really help to open up the energy in the spine. Any stretching that your dad could do would be extremely good. If he could do like a gentle yoga class, or even if you just went onto YouTube and did some postures with him, even if they were seated postures. But there's a lot of stagnant, sort of not flowing energy in the spine. So let's go to the library. We've already connected the libraries. Let's just go to the libraries. I'm trying to think in my mind. I don't really think that I have anything that would go to the level of the platelets. We do have some of the blood chemistry information. Let's look at the chemistry panel in here. A chem panel is one that they do in lab work, but we need the CBC. We need a CBC, which is a complete blood count on an American blood panel, and let's see if we get any sort of a read on the platelets here. Okay, so the platelets are 672. We want it up in the quick zap, and we want it down here. So I'm pretty sure you have the CBC assessment, Kendra, because you got my complete natural health testing panels. So run this one for him. We've got the lymphocytes, which is actually part of what protects you from viruses. So it seems like there could be a chronic virus here. It looks like his red blood cells, his white blood cells, his hemoglobin, and his MCV, which is the platelet size, is called mean corpuscular volume. Looks like those are all off for him. And I'm curious if that matches at all what's going on in his real world blood work. So when we want to work on the platelets, I'm actually going to add the hemoglobin and the red blood cells because it seems like there's something going on in the blood itself, although platelets are different from red blood cells. Platelets are completely different. We know platelets help you to clot. When you don't have enough platelets, you can't clot, you could bleed out. So it's important that he does get that gamma globulin if he needs it. And so what we're going to do when we have something we want to work on like that, we want to put in our potentiators. So we want to put in our solfeggios, we want to put in our nogiers, we want to put in things like the Fibonacci or the flower of life. Those things get the person back in touch with their own rhythm, with their own divinity, with their own innate ability to heal themselves. So this would be very, very good for you to run this for him. So we're going to keep those up in the quick zap. Let's take a quick look at the aura so we know where we're starting. And then we're going to get to those solfeggios. So if you guys want to test your own solfeggios or go to my mastery guide and pull out the mastery guide and look at some of the solfeggios that we're testing for him and take a look at that. So let's see what's going on with the aura. This is for 86-year-old gentleman who's having a platelet deficiency. And well, Kendra, I wonder if you've been working on him because he's looking pretty good. A lot of really good energy here. Beautiful light purple energy. A lot of energy going on in the higher chakras, that beautiful green energy moving in, and a little bit of gray going on up here. A little bit of gray going on down here. Otherwise, it's looking pretty good. Let's go to those solfeggio tones and test for them. If you've been working on him, looks like you've been doing a great job. You've been doing great work on him. Okay, 285. 285 is one that his energy field is drawn to. 285 is very, very good. Remember 285, this frequency helps tissue to return to its original form. This is really good when you've got a chronic illness, some type of damage. So the particular damage is to the platelets. Even though the platelets, we don't technically think about it as tissue, it kind of helps anything that's damaged in the body to be restored to its original form. 285 hertz influences energy fields, sending them a message to restructure damaged organs. But we could think about that as damaged blood or, damaged platelets. It leaves your body healing, your body rejuvenated and energized. So what that means is that you could do this you could just run 285 for 5 minutes or 2 minutes in order to feel rejuvenated. You could take your remedy plate and you could put 285, put your water bottle on that, and then drink the 285 frequency in your water throughout the day for total rejuvenation. And Nogier A is really good for that too. Nogier A, the letter A, is really good for cellular vitality. You guys, I want you to become energetic investigators and research on yourself. How does it feel when I run this particular frequency? How does it feel when I put it into water? How does it feel when I imprint it into jewelry? What do I experience? You become that energetic pioneer, that energetic researcher, on the leading edge of finding all of this out. Then for him, we've got 852, which is interesting because it's like a harmonic derivation of the 285. There's reasons for those interconnecting numbers, 285, 852, 528. Those are all related to each other. So 852 uses for awakening intuition and returning to spiritual order. It's always good. It doesn't matter if you're an evangelical Christian or a Buddhist or somebody who, any type of religion, or just non-sectarian religion, just believes in spirit or God. it's really good when you're working with a chronic illness to have some type of spiritual connection. So this frequency is helpful for piercing through the illusions in your life. Use this frequency in order to open yourself to divine communication. 852 raises your awareness and allows you to return to spiritual order. It even allows the process within yourselves to transform to a much higher level of energetic functioning. So actually 285 and 852 work really nicely together. They play really well together. So what we're really doing is we're trying to take that platelet energy and we're mixing it up in the energetic soup with the 852 and the 258 in order to transform it, in order to really sort of push the energy towards transformation of that one particular thing. And then we've got 417. 417 is, again, clearing the effects of the traumatic experiences and the pain or cellular memories of past events when it is limiting in the present. Okay, and 417 is known as the frequency that puts you in touch with the infinite energy within you. So that's really, really important. So what we're going to do then, that's a very, very complete session, even with just the 8 items, and we run that for 2 minutes. Okay, so see how simple it is, you guys? You guys don't need to be you guys don't need to be doctors in order to do this. Fiona says, how's his vitamin K level? We could check on that. It's a little confusing between vitamin, does the status of vitamin K actually affect, I know it affects clotting. Is it specifically through the mechanism of the platelets? Is a really good question. So it always gets confusing because people who are on, let's see, people who are on blood thinners are told not to take vitamin K because it could increase their clotting, and you don't want that for someone. The whole effect you're trying to get is for them to thin their blood. Let's see. Vitamin K is good for blood clotting. We know that the K in, so vitamin K and then the word clotting. But I'm trying to remember if it actually affects the platelets themselves, and is that the mechanism? Let's see. You guys, I'm not the only one who can look this up. You guys can look it up too and learn more about that. Vitamin K is needed in the activation of several clotting factors, and low vitamin K increases the tendency to bleed, but still doesn't tell us about the platelets in particular. But I suspect that maybe something in the immune system or toxicity has actually caused the platelet deficiency. Can a remedy plate be attached to an Android or an iPad? Absolutely. Go to my website and type in the word remedy plate. The remedy plate is awesome because you get a selenite wand, get a piece of selenite when you order the remedy plate from me, and you get 2 wristbands so that you can imprint frequencies into wristbands, and you get a nice long beautiful extension cord so that the person doesn't have to be within 6 inches of the iPad, so they can actually relax, and you can have, or I'm sorry, with the remedy plate, you can have the iPad anywhere and you can have the remedy plate further away from the iPad. Okay, so lots of greens and green juices would support him too. That's good, Fiona. I like it. Selenite wand. Selenite's just really good for healing, and you can imprint because it's so watery. If you look up, just Google the word selenite, because it's such a watery stone, it's very receptive to the frequencies. So if you imprint the frequencies, gave it to him to keep in his pocket or put under his pillow at night, that would be a great way for him to receive the frequencies. It's all good. He's receiving the frequencies in subspace. He can receive the frequencies through water. It all works, you guys. It all works. So let's see if this has shifted and changed anything. Says he's responded really, really positively. Oh, we have a little bit of a lag here. Beautiful, beautiful shift. Absolutely wonderful. He's really drinking in. He seems very, very receptive to the frequencies, really drinking in all of that wonderful energy and starting to just sort of clear the aura. So I love that. That looks really, really great. So yeah, so I don't have any magical answers for you at the moment. I would probably want to create a panel around low platelets and go back and try to investigate like why the platelets are low. But I think the chemical sensitivities is playing a big part. We see sensitivities in general, which would tell us that probably improving the digestion overall with the juices, the green juices, which would help the platelets, but just overall making the digestion better would be good. Some gentle stretching to open up that spinal energy would help a lot. Yeah, there's something going on with those chemical sensitivities. So I would use the toxic exposures from the libraries, and I'd use the liver assessment and liver solutions and the toxic exposure remedies. Let's just see what's coming up. Toxic exposures. So let's look at that. That may be what caused the platelets to go low in the first place. Xylene is one of the things that comes from paints and solvents. DDT, now as we age, the DDT can start to come out from the fat cells as we age over time. So he might have been exposed to DDT as a young man. Bisphenol A, make sure that he's not drinking out of plastic water bottles. Some phthalates. Yeah, try to drink out of glass as often as possible. So that looks like that's coming up. And then let's just see on the remedies, what kind of nutrition? It seems like he needs glutathione. It seems like he needs some magnesium. He could use some selenium. So yeah, it says whey protein would be good. Liposomal glutathione is something that I can help you out with. He needs to, I think, enhance the liver pathways would be good. And zinc keeps coming up for him. Taurine is also a good amino acid for the heart and for detoxification. And we've got milk thistle. Now, milk thistle is good for protecting you from poisons. It's a very, very good antioxidant for detoxification. So I do think a detoxification program would help. You know, when we look at things like somebody who's exposed to toxins like he was as a construction worker working with different building materials and things like that, the first thing it affects is the immune system. Then it affects the endocrine system, then it affects the nervous system. So it looks like it has affected his immune system in some way. So I think that that would be helpful. I think particularly working with that platelet frequency would be really helpful for him. I think doing the liver assessment and liver solutions would be good. And I'd have to think more about particularly maybe we can get like a platelet assessment panel going. Remind me by sending me an email about something like, do you think you'll work on that platelet assessment? Because we want to sort of, I don't think I'm going to have time to do it now, but sort of what are the different things that cause the platelets to go low? It's usually some type of a tipping point for the immune system. So something that's put stress on the immune system. So this says hepatitis. He may not have hepatitis, but he might have liver inflammation, which is literally the meaning of hepatitis. We associated with the virus. Some gallstones. You know what would be very good for him would be a castor oil pack. Castor oil pack to the abdomen. I think that would be excellent for him. And I will send you the specific instructions for castor oil pack. Where do we have that? Let's look at his digestive system. Let's look at the digestive panels. So when we look at the digestive system, we have this one, which is digestive 5, which is practices. Let's see which practices kind of resonate with him. Skin brushing. Why isn't a castor oil pack on here? Rebounding, but a coffee, and we're probably not going to get him to do that anytime soon. But boy, I have to add castor oil pack to that. That should be on there. And let's just see what's going on with the digestive assessment. Whenever anything is going on, like platelets or anything, you guys, you always want to look at the digestive assessment. Making the digestive system better will make every chronic condition better. Sympathetic dominance, lipase deficiency. You guys, a lot of people, if you have had coffee your entire life, I don't know if you're a coffee drinker or not, it can affect this lipase, this fat digesting enzyme. It's saying some diverticulitis, so more exercise, more fiber, improving the diet, all of those things would be really good for him. See if there's any good digestive solutions. Gentian bitters, making the digestion better. That would be a good start for him, just to get some bitters. Go to urbanmoonshine.com. That would be a good one to start with. Just making the digestion better can help people with parasites and poor digestion. It can improve everything. So, or go to Urban Moonshine and look for a bitter that appeals to you. That's something that it contains a bitter taste, and the bitter in the mouth means sweetness in the stomach. It really helps the digestion to get better. Anytime you make the digestion better, you will make a chronic tooth infection better. You will make a chronic condition better. You'll make osteoarthritis get better because you reduce the inflammation in the body. You reduce the infection in the body. So always go for making the digestion better. You'll never go wrong if you improve the digestive system. All right, so let's do a final we did have a request to look. Lynette says, look at his methylation profile. So yeah, he could have been MTHFR. He could have, if you're MTHFR, which has to do with your methylation profile, it means you're not a very good detoxifier just genetically. And one of the MTRs does show up for him. And also that B vitamins are really, really needed throughout life. Let's go to the lower one. Oh yeah, there's that MTHFR and the MTRR, which is related. So there probably is, good call, Lynette, there probably is some really impediments, some natural impediments. That's something that Kendra, you would want to consider as well. So you may want to do like a 23andMe test. We have a really good class on this that you can download and look at the genetic mutations that have caused your father to be not as good of a detoxifier. So he had a double whammy. He had the exposure to the construction building materials, but he wasn't a very good detoxifier to begin with. So he needs a lot of B vitamins, a lot of magnesium, and a lot of liposomal glutathione to get that detoxification up. And you can use it energetically or you can use it in real life. But that makes a lot of sense. And let's just see what some of the nutritional support that comes up for him. So you guys, you can really imagine that using this just makes you so much quicker, so much easier to find those solutions. Some people search for years at their doctor's office just trying to find what the issue is. Here we get the problem, we get the solution, we get the energy that we need to resolve the issue. It all goes really, really nicely together. So SAM E is really helps with detoxification. We've got St. John's wort, which we think about for depression, but it's actually very, very good for helping with these methylation deficiencies. Vitamin B6, passion flower, a good herb for helping the methylation pathways. Zinc, zinc came up three times a charm. I would totally look into zinc. He could get it just through pumpkin seeds. It's come up 3 times in blue for him. So go, and this is what you tell your clients, go read about zinc. See if there's something about this need for zinc that resonates with what his particular condition is. And typically it's because it really supports the immune system. And a lot of people can get deficient in zinc. It could be because he used it up for detoxification. Cyanocobalamin, trimethylglycine, these are all things. That's the cyanocobalamin is a form of B12. Trimethylglycine is those methyl groups that helps with methylation. Methylcobalamin, you see the word methyl there again. All of these things help detoxification to be more efficient. So I think, it's that kind of struck gold there with that idea about the methylation piece. It could affect his blood pressure. He could have had high blood pressure because he's a poor methylator. All of these things really need to be considered. It says that his most pressing issue is actually the gallstones right now, which is related to his digestion, as well as some phthalates. Does he drink out of soft water bottles? If so, then the phthalate issue could be anything that's soft and pliable. That type of plastic has phthalates in it. For cosmetics, we attribute it to like hair products and stuff like that. I don't suppose he's using a lot of those. TH7, so the mid-back, inflammation of the liver, and a lot of stuff needing to get that digestion back on track and need to get that methylation and detoxification pathways open. For more of the actual medical side, Kendra may want to make an appointment with me where we can do a nutritional consultation for him. Margaret says, amazing about MTHFR, searched for years since the late 80s with no help, finally figured out the MTHFR. Very thankful. Thanks. Love this, Ariel. I'm glad you're loving today and glad to have you guys aboard. Glad you're here. When is he going to make a button to go to the other end without scrolling? Actually, there are some screens that you can go all the way down without scrolling. Maybe the libraries he will do that, but you should be using the search box for that. And when you scan the whole matrix, which I'll show you in the general overview, you can actually do that. You can flip to the down to the bottom. Okay, Claire had to go to sleep, I think. It's getting late. So how to fix MTHFR. You don't really fix MTHFR, although it's very likely that biofeedback helps to make everything better, including MTHFR is basically, it's called a SNP, a single nucleotide polymorphism, which means that your genetics have changed. There's been a mutation, which means that your genetics don't necessarily work as well to do certain things as other people who don't have that genetic mutation. And one of them we've called the this problem with doing methylation. Methylation means that you're doing chemical processes in the body. And these chemical processes could be properly making hormones or properly making liver enzymes, being able to properly detoxify. All of those things could be affected by different genetic mutations. So there's a good book out on this by one of my colleagues called Dirty Genes. And we went over some of these dirty genes in the most recent Healing Chronic Cases is where we took it up. So if you look for my Healing Chronic Cases class, you can learn all about methylation and get the methylation panel in the Healing Chronic Cases series. And you get a certificate after doing that as well. So yes, that's where you can learn more about what this methylation is. So, but if you think about the chemical processes of the body, making proper hormones, helping to detoxify things that you're exposed to, your mood, your neurotransmitters working well, those are all influenced by whether or not your methylation pathways are working properly. So that's what that's all related to. So we don't have time to do it now, but like if Kendra was working on her father, I would definitely include those emotional things in the emotions panel, things in the neurotransmitter panel, and things in the Nogier panel. Actually, let's just see what comes up on this Nogier panel because it's a number 1. If it's a number 1, I mean, that's really low, you guys. It's so weird because then we don't get anything that's really strongly out of balance, and that is because there's not enough Nogiers to test, unfortunately. So we have to sort of modify the lows and the highs, and I would consider Nogier B to be much more important than a 683. Like I would put it as a very high level of importance. So Nogier B is excellent for people with digestive issues. I would definitely include it here, and I'd include it if I was going to do it in Progressive Insight. So it's super important. It tells us that your father will get a lot of benefit from dealing with his digestive system. So I would get some juices in there, get a juice press or a cheap juicer, start feeding him some juices, start feeding him some green juices, get him some carrot juice, get him some beet juice in the mix there. He has to get him some digestive enzymes. He has to fix his digestion, is going to make everything better. Get him going to sleep at night with a hot water bottle and a castor oil pack. That means a nice cotton flannel that you can get online, cotton flannel castor oil pack, and castor oil, which is super cheap. It's going to be one of the cheapest things that anybody could ever do for themselves to make their liver and digestion work better. And of course, biofeedback is part of it. So this frequency, Nogier B, which is 584 hertz, frequency chimes in perfect resonance with the endoderm, the innermost tissue that forms the lining of the intestinal tract, the lungs, the bladder, the urethra, and the auditory tube. This ectoderm, which is I think there's a misspelling here. This endoderm, it should say, also forms the thyroid, thymus, liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. 584 hertz appears to improve nutritional assimilation, allergy problems, and balances the parasympathetic nervous system. So Kendra, what you can do is get out the remedy plate, or if you don't have one yet, just run the platelets and 285 for repairing tissue, repairing things that are damaged, and Nogier B. Just run those three together. Platelets, the 285 hertz frequency, and the Nogier B. Run those three together. So that would be really, really powerful just doing those. So you guys, none of these have to be really, really complex or complicated sessions. It can be very, very simple. Okay, so we've got about 20 minutes left, you guys. So we want burning cases, what you need to, people who just absolutely need to be worked on today. So we have a couple of those that have chimed in. We've got Lois. She wasn't able to unmute herself. So let's look at Lois. And she's got something called Ehlers-Danlos system, which affects her entire neurological system. And Lois is very, very close to getting her genius. So she's really just about to jump in the water and swim, and she's just about to get her genius. So I look forward to helping you with that, Lois. So we'll go to Lois in just a second. Kendra, I hope this gave you some ideas, and if you need more ideas, then just go ahead and call me or email me and we'll talk more. Jane asks, are there any side effects by running the genius a lot on yourself and others? So the frequencies are meant for the person that you're working on. Is there any downside to hearing these tones? No downside. It would be like running Reiki. Running Reiki through you actually get better. So if anything, it should be more upliftment and more positivity for you, but there's no side effects. You might get tired just from working with people and working on them. That could cause you fatigue, just even focusing on the person. So it might be you as a healer. So remember to that might be part of the issue. Okay, so let me just turn this off for a second so we can get Lois's information, and then we'll see if we can get, I think Debbie has emailed me a couple of times, sort of burning desire to really get worked on today. And this is so fun. We get to do a really cool marathon today on a holiday, and I really super appreciate you guys checking in. This will be recorded, and then I'll post the recording on my YouTube channel under Ariel Policano. So if anybody wants to grab that link and send it to a friend, I really appreciate it. Please send your referrals to my website, awakentotalhealth.com. And I'd be happy to talk with them. We also do pay a 20% commission for your referrals. So remember to email me and tell me, I told so-and-so about the genius. They've downloaded it. Can you keep an eye on them? Can you talk to them? Can you answer their questions? That's what I'm here to do. We have several 4th of July specials that are on the website where people can get a special deal, over $800 in bonuses. And there's also some bonuses for getting a second license if you already have a license. So check those out on the website. So here's cute little Lois. I've been talking to her. She's doing a big move, but she is so enthusiastic and positive about getting the genius. So there we go. It's been uploaded. So sometimes you have the voice, sometimes you have the picture. You just go with what you have, you guys. Remember, you have a lot of information just in the voice or the picture, even in the date of birth. All right. So let's go ahead and let's add in those libraries. If you've got the Mastery Health libraries, the natural health testing libraries, then you've got these. All right. Great. Okay. So we're working on our dear Lois, who's got this something I had never heard of even in medical school. It's called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Ehlers-Danlos. Let's look at it up online. And it's affected her nervous system. So we'll see if we see any of that reflected. She sounds fine when we talk to her. You know, she sounds really super enthusiastic and happy. Oh, it causes, wow, it's intense, you guys. It causes, it's a connective tissue disorder, can be inherited, and they are generally characterized by joint hypermobility, joints that stretch further than normal, skin hyperextensibility, skin that can be stretched further than normal, and tissue fragility. So she probably has to be super careful in things that she does, exercise and so forth. And it says it's affected her. It says she says it's affected her nervous system. I would not doubt that. Let's see, can cause musculoskeletal pain, fragility, gum disease. Wow, it does not sound like a picnic there, Lois. Sounds like you've had something that you've really had to deal with. So let's see what's coming up first. Let's test the aura. And there's always hope for everyone. Everyone can run biofeedback. Even if you're not a doctor, even if you don't know anything about health, you can still run quantum biofeedback and get results and get positive results. Okay, so a lot of this looks very, very good. We've got some beautiful higher energies. What we typically want to see for improvement is we want to see more symmetry in the aura. We want to see things not being imbalanced on either side. I don't see a lot of gray. I see maybe a little bit up here. Overall, the aura itself looks very, very good. Now it does say meridians, so let's see which of the meridians. Remember to jump into my mastery guide to get more information. Keep that close by, you guys. It's not meant that you read through and memorize the whole thing, but it's meant that you go back and you go to it and you'll continue to learn and remember more the more that you keep going to it and keep referring to it. For example, like with Tony, Tony came up today very, very high in that pericardium energy. And we see that coming up too for Lois. So remember the pericardium was that sac that goes around the heart. And that comes up when you've had a lot of emotional ups and downs, or you've been exposed to the ups and downs of other people. Let's just see if there's one that's really, really low. Okay, we'll look at the liver meridian. So the pericardium, remember we talked about this, the king's bodyguard. The pericardium is the heart's protective sac. And in Chinese, I wanted to just see this. Okay, not only does the pericardium provide the heart with physical protection, its energy, the energy in the pericardium meridian, because that's what the meridian is, it's an energy center. Its energy protects the heart from damage and provides the heart with physical protection. All right, okay. Its energy, I keep reading the same thing, heart from damage and disruption by excessive emotional energies generated by the other organs, so such as anger from the liver, fear from the kidneys, and grief from the lungs. In the Chinese system of health, extreme outbursts of the seven emotions are regarded as the most powerful disruptors of internal energy balance and major cause of disease. So the Chinese say you can let yourself get tired, but don't let yourself get exhausted. You might get irritated, but don't allow yourself to go into a fit of rage. Don't let yourself go to the extremes in emotion, because Chinese medicine calls that a major cause of disease. So often it's a spiritual path that we have to be on to sort of evaluate and sift through the experiences of our life to see if they warrant such extreme reactions of fear or anger. The other one that comes up, and we want to include the pericardium in our harmonizing, the other one that comes up is the liver meridian. So we'd want to go to the mastery guide and maybe learn more about that. Now the liver is going to be associated, the liver is the seat of anger. We know it's the place where we detoxify. We know the liver is called a wood energy yin organ. The liver is called the general or the chief of staff and is responsible for filtering, detoxifying, nourishing, replenishing and storing blood. So the liver is a store of blood. That's interesting, isn't it? The liver stores large amounts of sugar in the form of glycogen and releases it into the bloodstream as glucose whenever the body requires extra infusions of metabolic energy. The liver receives all the amino acids extracted from food by the small intestine and recombines them to synthesize the various forms of protein required for growth and repair of bodily tissues. The liver controls the peripheral nervous system. That's the peripheral nervous system is like the nervous system in your fingers and your feet, your legs. So the liver controls the peripheral nervous system, which regulates muscular activity and tension. The inability to relax is caused by liver dysfunction or an imbalance in wood energy. Liver energy also controls ligaments and tendons. Now that's absolutely fascinating because those would be directly affected by the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Therefore, for you, Lois, to work on your liver meridian often would be really, really important for you. Liver energy also controls, okay, so we said the ligaments and tendons, which together with muscles regulates motor activity and determines physical coordination. So she said she had an issue with her nervous system. This sounds like it could be related. Liver function is reflected externally in the condition of the finger and toenails and by the eyes and the vision. So you guys, if you're getting changes in your vision as you age, it's not just related to aging. If you make your liver better, you can make your eyes better. So carrot juice, like Kendra's going to give her dad, that could be really good for eye stuff. So an eye problem might not be an eye problem, might be a liver dysfunction. Even in Western medicine, they recognize that when the eyes are yellow, that's jaundice. So you can see how the health of the liver is reflected in the eyes. Through its association with wood energy, the liver governs the growth and development of the body, drive and desires, ambitions and creativity. Obstruction of liver energy can cause intense feelings of frustration, rage, and anger. And these emotions in turn further disrupt liver energy and suppress liver function in a vicious self-destructive cycle. So I don't know about those emotions for her, but definitely related to her physical condition, the liver meridian would be great for her to work on. So you could even just take that one little morsel of the liver and pericardium and then combine it with these other movers and shakers that we've been talking about. So you could then combine it with these different solfeggios. So the solfeggios are going to be your movers and shakers. So you get your physical or your energetic thing in there, and then you get these and make sure you look them up and start really, really learning them. We've seen 741 come up in almost every, it came up for Tony. Boy, Tony and Lois have some similar energetic stuff going on here. So 741, now she's working on this chronic condition, scratching her head and saying, what do I do about it? What do I do about it? How do I resolve this? And I think biofeedback is one of the best things you can expect to really get to things that we otherwise think of as unsolvable or unknowable, or they don't have a solution. We don't have a cure. It seems like they say that a lot in regular allopathic medicine. We have no cure for this. We don't know what to do. So 741, use this for solving problems, discovering innovative solutions, and increasing self-expression. 741 is amazing in that it can assist in cleansing the cell of toxins. Use 741 for clearing the effects of electromagnetic frequencies. This is a good one for that. Use it intentionally to increase your power of self-expression. So 741, very, very good for solving problems, maybe things we don't know the answers to today. The next one that comes up is 285. Remember 285 for healing the damaged tissue, the damaged organs. It's right up her alley. This is a great one for her to use in combination with that liver meridian, which is talking about the ligaments and tendons. So do you see how you start putting the pieces together? And you start putting this puzzle together and you start having the interrelated pieces that fit together. You're creating an energetic soup. You are creating the sort of the conglomerate energy as you're choosing things to go in the quick zap or down into the main whole tray. So what you choose sort of all goes together, each piece affecting another piece. The 285 hertz and the 74 hertz are going to affect that liver meridian in a very powerful way and affect that pericardium energy in a very powerful way. So we've got 285, right? It leaves your body rejuvenated and energized. Wouldn't you like that, Lois? That sounds good, right? And then she's got a couple more. All of these solfeggios want to come and play with her and hang out with her. And that's how you want to describe. People don't have a solfeggio deficiency. They have energies that want to come and hang out with her and play with her and, you know, help her in her, you know, divine dance. We're all in the energetic school on earth, and biofeedback helps us to determine what energies are going to facilitate that journey. Now, 174 is helpful for pain reduction, and I suspect that with her condition, there may be some related pain. So we're going to put 174 in there. 174 hertz, a frequency that's helpful for pain reduction and enhancing a sense of comfort. This frequency gives your organs, this is really interesting, you guys, it gives your organs a sense of security, safety, and love. Deanna asks a quick question here. I just want to jump in. She says, can you work on an animal if you don't have the date of birth? Yes, you can. Quick interruption here just about the animals. If you don't have a dog, a cat, a horse, if you don't have a date of birth, just estimate it. If you have a wild animal like a bird and got injured in your yard, you look at that bird, you say, I mean, how long do birds live, you know? So maybe the bird's a year old or something. You just estimate it. Innate intelligence knows. And take a picture of it. There's so much energy, you guys, in your picture. It's insane. Your whole energy field is, that's why, you know, people can send you positive energy through your picture, but your picture holds like your whole energy. Remember the Native Americans, they didn't want their picture taken because it's like a piece of yourself is in that picture. What do the side beams of color signify? Deanna, if you figure that out, let me know. If anybody else has any ideas, Fiona maybe, the side beams when you see the horizontal pattern of colors, if anybody has any ideas, let us know. I don't know. I know the vertical ones, I associate that with really connecting with the divine, with divine energy. Maybe that's what the horizontal means too. Deanna says, when you purchase a second license, do you get the second set of libraries too? I used to charge for that, but I do not charge for that. When you get your second license, you're going to get all my libraries on your second device for free. Okay, and get the specific meridians for the cat or dog and make a library. I don't know what that means, but Fiona, maybe elaborate a little bit. Okay, so back to Lois. We were on 174. We're on 396. 396 is liberating one from fear, cleansing those heavy feelings of guilt, releasing subconscious obstacles. I feel like 396 has come up for every single person that we've worked on today. I don't know if that's correct, but it seems like everybody's, boy, when you're carrying around feelings of guilt for anything, whether it's something you regret that you've done or you've done against somebody else or somebody did to you, guilt is a real heavy emotion, you guys. It's really good to be able to release that. So we've got a very, very simple harmonizing recipe or harmonizing soup up here. It's super easy. The pericardium, the liver, and then those wonderful solfeggios that want them to come to play with her. And that's it. And then you're off to the races. Just set your timer for 2 minutes. You guys, a lot happens in 2 minutes. I want you to really keep that in mind as you start to be balancing and harmonizing, you guys. We are going to do one more case because I know that Deborah was very, very, very much wanting to get worked on today. So Deborah, I think I need your date of birth. So if you did not send that to me already, make sure it's included. That's Deborah O. Make sure you send me, why don't you do it right now in the chat box, just send me your date of birth and we'll go from there. We'll do one more case today. A couple of things, you guys. There's a special on the second license on the website, awakentotalhealth.com. There's really good specials. I have new programs. They're called Upgraded Plus, Practitioner Upgraded Plus, so people can get a practitioner certificate. So go to my website and just go to the 4th of July specials, and right in the center of the page you can read about that. Remember, let anybody who's interested in the Genius know that they can get 14 days of the Genius for free. We just really want to invite people to the table, see what delicious meal is on the table, and enjoy consuming that meal, because that meal is the energy that comes from the Genius. We want them to be able to experience it themselves, to really experience what they can achieve, what they can get out of it. You know, there really isn't any other type of energetic tool that we have where a person can actually try it, take it out, and test drive it. If you look at all of the other energetic machines that are out there, the energetic technologies, they all require a purchase. And we let people use this for 14 days and just determine what do they like, what do they not like, what do they enjoy, and then we can help them to understand it over 14 days. You guys, if you call the phone number on my website, you'll find that if I don't answer directly, that I'll probably be getting back to you within the first hour or up to 3 hours, but definitely return the call on that day. Or if everybody on here who emails me knows that they get a very rapid fire response from me. So that's something that I really can give to people who are new to the Genius or who are being recommended to try the Genius. Go to my website, awakentotalhealth.com, to learn more about the Genius and find out about the specials. All right. Okay, so Lois, I guess let me know if you're getting anything out of this or understanding it. Lynette has a really great perspective here. I feel like those horizontal lines are the upper limits in the chakras. The blue line in this aura was around the liver area. The frequency for self-expression came up as support. Blue is the throat chakra, not being able to speak. Anger from the liver is what I'm getting energetically. Wow, very, very interesting. I love that interpretation. That's really, really cool. Let's go back and look at that aura picture again. So as I say, the blue line in this aura was around the liver area, and sure enough, it was. The frequency for self-expression. That's fascinating. Really nice interpretation here. I guess Lois, just let us know if maybe shoot me an email. I'm looking at the emails in real time. Let me know if any of this is making sense for you, and if it's resonating for you. We'd love to know and hear if it's helpful in some way. But I think these things would be good for you to continue to work on. So we're getting a beautiful green aura. We don't really want to see gray. And it's more symmetrical, it's more even. There is actually some gray sort of still under the aura a little bit. So at the lower part of the aura. So we'd want to work on that a little bit. Okay, I'm getting a little bit loopy after the 3 hours, so just hang in with me. But I did want to show you this, which is her before and after. I mean, before doesn't look bad. I mean, it's got all of that beautiful higher energy colors. And again, what Lynette said was the blue line in this aura was around the liver area. The frequency for self-expression came up as support. The blue is the throat chakra, the ability to speak anger. So maybe she has some frustration or anger that hasn't been completely expressed. And all of that you have to take this as there's a lot of different communications, both obvious, subtle, metaphysical, metaphorical. And so there's asymmetry here. It's not symmetrical, it's not even. But when we move into the next aura after the harmonizing, we see more symmetry, we see more balance, we see more green, like that beautiful heart energy moving in. And green is actually a color associated with the liver. The green liver rising wood energy, they call it. The wood that they're talking about is not wood as we think about. The wood is like new growth. So like the really, really green twigs or green yeah, not twigs, but like green stems and stuff like that, small branches, maybe would be a better word. All that, that's all liver energy. That's all representation of what liver energy is like. So that green energy is very, very common. Although we do talk about green for the heart too, so a little bit of overlap there. All right, so let's go back to the genius. We have one more case to talk about. Lois, I sure do hope that that was helpful in some way, that gave you some insight. Yes, she says, I'm looking forward to the replay. Were the corrections done? Yes, they were. They were done, and you responded really, really nicely to that energy. So you got really good rectification. In biofeedback, there's always a rectification percentage, you guys. If you're exposed to something and somebody say, oh, it's biofeedback, say, well, do you get a rectification percentage? Those are the percentages that are down at the bottom here. So those rectification percentages, they tell you how far you've come in assimilating the energy for that particular cycle that you're working on. And if they don't give you that feedback, that's not biofeedback. They're not telling you how you've received or responded to the particular frequencies, and that's something that you definitely want to get. Okay, so Fiona says, horizontal lines for the aura, I see them as a specific energy coming into that side or part of the body for specific healing. I like to see the aura change, becoming fuller and with no horizontal line after running sessions. I relate the colors to the specific chakras too. Oh, so it's interesting. So the chakras, if you relate to the chakras, even if it's not in that chakra area. So let me just read her comment again. Thanks, Fiona. Horizontal lines for the aura, I see them as specific energy coming into that side or part of the body for specific healing. And that's really similar to what Lynette just said. I like to see the aura change, becoming fuller with no horizontal energy line after running sessions, and I relate the colors to the specific chakras. Oh, it's really fantastic, you guys. Fantastic feedback from both of these very, very gifted and wonderful practitioners. So really, really appreciate that. Let's go into one more case, and anybody who had a case today, please follow up with me if you have questions. If there's anything that you want to know, if there's anything that I can answer for you, I'd be more than happy to do so. So I'm going to just turn that camera off for a second where you were seeing the screen. And we've got one more participant today. Deborah, I guess just go ahead and check your microphone and see if you do have a microphone that works. And let me know, did you send your picture? Did you send your picture to my email? And we can see if that's in the email there. Or we can try to get your voice. Hope to get one of them and see what's going on and how we can help you today. And this will be our final case for today. And I really, really appreciate you guys being on. And hopefully I've given you some more strategies, some more insight, some better understanding about how the genius works. And hey, if you've got burning questions, go ahead and send them now either to my email at awakentotalhealth.com or send them down in the chat. I'm checking both in real time. All right, so we'll try to unmute Deborah. Don't know if we're going to have a voice scan or not.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. It's so good to get to talk to you.
Yes, thank you so much for today. I've been taking notes.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Okay, well let's work on you. So first of all, let's get your voice. So I'll have you say your name and then AEIOU. I'll even cue you when to start. So I'll start recording in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
My name's Deborah. AEIOU. AEIOU. AE.
Okay, that was absolutely perfect. Okay, and so you guys, I know we're going to be wrapping up here soon, and hang on, Deborah, for one second. I'm going to be sending some special offers only for people who attended today. So if you attended or if somebody's online watching the recording, shoot me a message because I'm going to have some very, very special extra bonuses for people who were on today. All right, so Deborah, what have we got going on?
I was born with a stomach problem, and when I grew up, I was a latchkey, what they call a latchkey. Both parents were always gone, so I just ate candy for my meals. On Halloween, I would eat a grocery bag of candy in one night.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's born with a stomach problem, and just can't ever seem to get it fixed. Nobody seems to know what it is. And I'm wondering if it might, and I can't eat sweets, or I even have to be careful on vegetables if they're too sweet. I can't eat them. It bothers my stomach. Sometimes it feels like I can feel something growing, like a bacteria. Other times
Uh-huh.
yeah, sometimes it seems like H. pylori.
Well, it could be H. pylori. Well, certainly, now what age did this start at that you were eating more sweet foods?
I was born with a stomach problem, and then my diet was terrible as a kid, and
I'm sorry, what kind of stomach problem were you born with? Was it like when you say stomach problem, what do you think it was? Was it an infection?
they never said the food. I wasn't able. Any formula they used on me came out the same way it went in. So the mom said about the first few months that I was born, I really didn't have any food. It just, they tried formula after formula, and she was really worried about me. And the doctor said, well, she's gaining weight, so she's all right. And they just kept trying, and finally, goat's milk is what worked for me.
Wow,
And
so you were able to tolerate?
yeah, and mom said I was really eager to eat when they gave that to me. But then I don't know if my diet as a kid, I ended up with 8 mercury fillings while I was in grade school. And I've just had stomach problems my whole life and just can't seem to. I use the biofeedback practically every day, just trying to figure out whether to treat a bacteria or H. pylori or a parasite.
Okay, now I'm getting the idea. Okay.
Yeah.
When you say today you don't eat sweets, you mean you can't tolerate any sweet foods?
Oh, I know. I'm scared of fruit, and even carrots will be too sweet. I got down to mostly eating greens, and even
Sure.
those. It just seems like now, whatever food I eat feeds something, and I have to use the
Oh.
biofeedback every day to kill off whatever's there or knock it
Um,
back.
I'm trying to remember the book. Oh yeah, okay, Donna Gates. Have you ever read Donna Gates's book Body Ecology?
No.
That book would be really, really good for you. It will just change your life because it is particularly for someone like yourself who has to be really careful about any type of sugar that affects their gut. And she
Okay.
really does a great job of telling you how to go through steps to really heal that. And it sounds like as a kid that your gut microbiome was shifted in a way that ultimately didn't really serve you.
Yeah.
And
I,
have you tried different rounds of probiotics to see if they help you in any particular way?
yeah. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't.
Okay, okay. So I'm going to just do a little bit of preliminary testing while we're talking.
Okay.
Before we go any further, you have been a big fan of the Genius, I think.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We've got so many miracles in my family. And my brother lives about 20 miles away. He has diabetes, and I just have a photo of him, and I treat him all the time. And I got his diabetes numbers just, it's hardly even a concern anymore. We're working on,
Wow, that's amazing. And what
it
did you
is.
just work on his chakras and his flower essences? You just sort of worked on him generally?
Yeah, I just go through the panels and pick up. I might have 233 things in my lower tray, and I just evaluate them, what's the highest, and I'll go into the functional, those 7 zones. I'll pick out the one that seems the most important, like that could affect the others the most, and
Sure, that's a great idea.
yeah, I'll go in deeper with that, and then I'll run it maybe 1 minute with all of them selected, and then I'll go through and take all the low ones off, and extra homeopathics and Bach flowers off the mediums, and then I'll run it, another minute, and then I'll check. I'll see what the percentage is. I try to get on it to, 48%, 50%, something like that. And then I'll run the top ones that are the major things and the high, the reds. And I'll run them a minute or two. And then I'll check the aura and see if I like how it looks. If I don't like how it looks, or if I feel like it needs a little more, I'll go in and do a little more work. But I spend more time collecting the red and the blues and evaluating than running. It might take me an hour to load my tray.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That is actually not a bad thing, because there's actually a lot, there's a lot to that. There's a lot in the investigation process, and then there's a lot that's happening now when you're testing someone in quantum biofeedback, you're part of the field. You're part of what's affecting them. There's a dance that you and the client are doing together. And you're joined, your field is joined, and your awareness is also affecting and influencing them. So as you do the testing, there's actually a beautiful dance to it, where even in your act of discovery, both the actual testing switches their energy. So every time you test something, it switches their energy. And even in your new awareness that you're sort of sharing with them in the energetic field is affecting them as well. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I want to tell you something. While I've been listening to you today, I've been checking my aura, and I can't believe in the couple of hours I've been listening to you, the way my aura has changed every, 10 minutes or 20 minutes. I just, every once in a while.
Oh, sure. You're in our collective consciousness of
collective
energy.
Just been amazing. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, the reason I was saying that is I don't want you to feel like you're at all wasting your time with, sometimes you're feeling like, my God, just running the reds and the blues and putting them all in the tray is taking forever.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But I feel like, everything's so interconnected, and I want to look at the whole thing and then kind of focus down on what I think will help the most and affect the most.
Well, not to be too cliche, but it seems like candida or some type of fungus is part of the equation in this whole mix.
Yeah, it's been problematic for me.
And it would make sense. I mean, when you had sort of a lot of the sugar, you switched the gut microbiome, and you may not have been able to really switch it back, meaning the bacterial balance in your gut shifted, and that fungus, we may not have just been able to get on top of that enough. Let's just see what kind of herbs come up, just out of curiosity. What kind of herbs come up as good solutions for you, and see probably a lot of them that you've tried already, but let's see. Yeah. Well, clove comes up as good. Have you ever used the clove essential oil?
Well, I've used Thieves, it's got clove in it.
Yeah. And when Thieves, I mean, do you actually just
drink it?
Apply it? Oh, you drink it. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you mean mouthwash, or you actually take like a few drops of it and actually digest the drops? Okay.
Yeah, I'll put a drop in water and drink it.
Yeah, that's probably really good. I wonder, do you feel better after you do that?
Sometimes.
Sometimes
I feel like I feel like I get rid of the candida, but then something else comes along. That doesn't work, and it works better. Start working H. pylori. It just seems like there's always something there that whatever I eat will feed it. I might clear something up for a while, but then I've got one of the others I'm dealing with. I just can't seem to get And that's what made me start wondering, well, maybe there's a DNA thing, because doesn't sugar affect the DNA?
Well, one thing that's interesting that it says here is to reset the peristalsis. So just to reset the wave of the flow within your body of basically processing food and processing microorganisms. So even just resetting that rhythm may make it a less palatable place for them, maybe make it
Could
less
be.
possible for them to thrive.
Yeah.
Restoring sympathetic activity.
Oh.
So do you get some time to take like real long, maybe 30 or 45-minute walks?
I haven't been. I take care of my mother who's 98 going on 99, so I'm not getting exercise like I used to.
Have you ever done a castor oil pack?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
That
used to.
that'd be really good for you to start maybe doing every night for the next maybe 10 nights in a row.
Okay. Yeah, I did that for a while, and then my liver, I could tell, didn't like it, so I quit for a while.
Oh, okay, maybe that's not the practice for you. It also says prebiotic intake is low. You know, the top prebiotic foods are leek, which is a form of onion, and actual onion, and garlic are the top three forms of prebiotics. How does your body respond to those?
Yeah,
Or,
I take a lot of garlic, and I eat raw onion almost every day,
hmm,
but
you
it's
know, so
still,
maybe it's something emotional then. Maybe there's an emotional
well,
piece to all the digestion.
it could be because had a very abusive childhood.
Okay, so the sweets maybe were a way that you escaped some of that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, so that's coming together. Um, have you tried the PTSD panels? Those
I don't have I don't have that panel, but I
Oh,
do have
okay.
PTSD. So you've got a
Mhm.
PTSD.
Yeah, there's two panels. There's PTSD assessment and PTSD solutions. That'll be my gift to you for being part of the class today. So you can play with those and see if they help you, because I do think that's probably part of the whole picture going on for you, is because whenever you hear there's you know, you're very, very smart, you're obviously very knowledgeable, and you think, wow, all these years, you know, you couldn't really um, figure out what that is, you know, what's going on. You can't really resolve the issue no matter what you try, then you usually think, yeah, there's probably some past trauma or something that is part of the equation.
Yeah. Have you heard that we store trauma in the fascia?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
That's,
Yeah, the H. pylori, we have H. pylori in our system,
hmm.
so it just basically comes and goes. I'm trying to remember where I actually may have H. pylori, maybe in the infections assessment. Um, but yeah, H. pylori is either low or it's high. Boy, there it is. It does look like it's pretty high for you. What kinds of things have you tried to deal with H. pylori?
Well, I just got treated with a skio for it just a few days ago, and it showed it was clear. But I ate a few potatoes, and it all started back up again.
Well, when you say it started back up again, what is that?
That stomach pain, like
There,
it feels like something growing, like maybe H. pylori or bacteria or.
well, you wouldn't be able to feel H. pylori growing, but when you say pain, is it in the center of your stomach?
It's about 2 inches above the belly button,
And it is on the right side or the left side?
right dead center. Seems like where the maybe the esophagus enters the stomach. Maybe I don't know.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? Like 1 being not so bad and 10 being I can't deal with this anymore.
It's a 10 because I can't sleep at night.
Really?
Yeah, I
Ooh.
wake up several
Mm-hmm.
times every night. I'll
Well,
take.
Deborah, how long has this been going on for that it's been a 10?
It won't stay 10 every night,
Mm-hmm.
but it's been going on several months now.
Well, you want to be careful it's not appendicitis. Appendicitis pain can masquerade, even though it's really the lower right area. It can masquerade as anywhere. It can be like around, we call the umbilicus, which is the belly button. It can be in a lot of different places. So you want to be careful. But there is one supplement that we use in naturopathic medicine specifically for H. pylori. Now, I'm not convinced H. pylori is the cause of your pain, even though it looks like H. pylori is absolutely there and absolutely an issue, as we can see in the infection assessment. But the one that we use is called HPLR. HPLR, it's from a company called Apex Energetics, and it
Okay.
contains oregano extract, Oregon grape extract, um, a couple other things that are typically used, to help to fight sort of chronic bacterial infections, and in
Okay.
particular H. pylori. So I was just going to see if you guys don't know about this function in the extra modules, you can use synergistics, and we can just put in this for her. Now, I do think there's probably a lot tied up in all of this, that you're still sort of unwinding with the emotional piece. So yeah, because stomach stuff is so much about emotions, but you could definitely try the HPLR and see if it has some effect and see if it helps. What kind of a food plan are you on? What's like sort of the typical things you have in your food and your diet?
I am mostly vegan. I try to stick mostly with raw because I just feel like that is a better chance to keep from uh, stirring up whatever it is that bacteria or whatever
No,
that are
that's
there.
a good idea. No, I'm glad to hear that. Well, it does look like the HPLR is a very good fit for you. The only thing is that the mind, but I think that's just because you don't know a lot about it. And
Oh,
so, yeah, look up Apex Energetics H, and then there's a dash PLR online. Of course, I'm not prescribing it, but you want to read about it. You could
yeah.
do a consult with me to get more clarity about it. Um, let's see. Got like a couple of things. Do you have digest from Young Living Oil? You could test it on your stomach if you have that at home.
I do
Uh,
have it. I used to use.
Ariel, oh yeah, okay. Well, if it didn't work, I mean, try the HPLR, but that's a good recommendation from our group here. And I think it was Hattie who said, where did that come from? So where that came from was the synergistics, which is in our extra module. So you have to go up to the navigation bar, go to the extra modules, which is the third one down, and go to synergistics. And then you type in the name of whatever it is that you want to test, and then you hit begin analysis. When we put in Apex Energetics HPLR, her circle's filled up, which means she has a high resonance, a high connection to it. Hattie says, is this the first case you got to a panel that was evaluation type panel, said perfect blood pressure? Don't know. I don't know what that is all about. Um, Fiona, I can't read your entire comment. Etc. Become more self-aware. Maybe, oh, maybe it's up here. Our thoughts and beliefs make issues, diseases, infections, etc. become more self-aware. Maybe strengthening spiritual protection in auric field and including the higher DNA libraries to support the integration of higher frequencies.
Oh,
So yeah, it did seem like spiritual protection maybe was kind of, have you checked that panel for yourself on a regular basis? I think that was actually lighting up for you. Oh no, it
I
isn't.
I usually do, but I haven't worked on myself for a few days. Our house flooded in
Oh no.
yeah, in the rain, and so I've just been taking care of mom and
That's a lot. That's a lot going on there. Well, there is a lot that lights up for you in spiritual protection, so it seems like it would be a good panel for you to work with.
yeah, and she that said spiritual correction protection, and what was the other thing she
Well,
said?
she said to strengthen the spiritual protection in auric field and include the higher DNA libraries to support the integration of higher frequencies. But what
Okay.
I take that as I would run the spiritual protection. I think she's talking about my libraries, which I'll give you the whole list of libraries so you can look through them. I think she's talking about the DNA libraries that I have in my collection, which you can see.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know you had those.
Yeah, I'll send you the whole list so you can review those.
Great.
And yeah, Sherry says here from Canada says, I'm on here, so just let you know I'm open for the special. So yeah, I want to send everybody is going to get a little bit extra something for being on today because I really do appreciate it. And I am going to post it to YouTube for sure. So let's see if we have these 10 items. Why don't we now, do you run the solfeggios for yourself and those other frequencies, some of those higher energy frequencies?
I was going to sacred geometry to do that, but after
That's
listening
a
to,
that's a good
yeah,
choice.
after listening to you today, I was thinking I maybe would start using the others.
Yeah, yeah, it can be really, really helpful, and they're kind of lesser known, like a lot of people don't know about them. Now, frequency D, Nogier D, let's put that up in there in that quick zap and include that. Nogier D is to balance both sides of the brain. And when I think about balancing both sides of the brain, people who have had a trauma in their past, often their left and right brain, there's a block of communication across the corpus callosum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the same thing, Nogier L is related to the same thing. It's Nogier L is also left and right brain communication. So Nogier L brings resonance to the brain. 276 is helpful for just left to right brain communication. I do think that this issue of the stomach is related to this past trauma, and doing things like the Nogier D, Nogier L will help to facilitate that left and right brain communication. That's what rapid eye therapy helps the person by. They bring up the trauma into their conscious mind, have them think about it, and then they have them move their eyes quickly from left, right, left, right, left, right, and it simulates rapid eye therapy when you're sleeping, which is moving information across the corpus callosum. So you could do it here too with the biofeedback.
Wow. Okay.
Well, your body really likes these Nogiers. I mean, boy, a bunch of them are coming up for you. The
How
Nogier
many
A
can you,
is, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
how many can you play at a time? I didn't know if I should do, I didn't know if I'd be getting too much if I played a bunch of those at a time. So when I
Well,
have
there's
used them,
always the thought of you could just do one at a time, but
that's what I've been doing.
yeah, you could do one at a time, but there's really no downside. The body knows how to figure out how to assimilate them all.
Okay.
And also your genius kind of cycles through things. So it'll cycle through A, then it'll go to D, so it won't do actually all at the same time.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah. So frequency D helps to, we talked about that one, helps to balance both sides of the brain, but Nogier A is for cellular vitality, really, really great for uplifting, reviving you, helping you to feel better. C is about a lot about connective tissue.
Oh,
And yeah, and frequency, what was the last one? Frequency G. G is for intellectual organization. It's all about brain function. You're all about improving that left and right brain. That's actually really, really important for you to go. If you go to my website and download that mastery guide, at least just the electronic version, because I think they really help you to understand what these Nogiers are.
okay.
So let's do a little bit of harmonizing for that. And then I'm just going to read some of these comments, and we'll come back to you in just a bit before we close out the session, okay?
Uh-huh.
All right, so let me just do this.
Do you want me to tell one more amazing testimony real quick?
Oh, please, yeah, go right ahead.
The very first time when I first got the Genius, the first time I used it on my mother, 98 years old, she started, and I went into the progressive zones, you know, how the progressive insights, and
Mm-hmm.
I pushed the button, and all of a sudden she went, well, it scared me, and I stopped it because I thought I was hurting her. And I said, Mom, what's wrong? And she said, I can feel in my toes. I haven't been able to feel anything in there for decades. And we stopped and she wanted to put peppermint oil on her toes, and she was just, it was just wonderful. She couldn't believe that she had feeling in those two toes. Just, I didn't even run it a minute. And I didn't know what I was doing anyway. It scared me, but then when she was so excited about it, I realized, hey, this thing really works.
That is amazing. Oh my gosh. You have had some amazing experiences.
Yeah.
And Sharon, thanks Sharon from Canada. I haven't seen her around in a while. Really good to have some people that we haven't, like Cheryl, we haven't heard from in a while. It's nice to have all these old friends, good friends coming back and hanging out with us today. It's been so much fun. And Sharon says, how about some digestive enzymes like with hydrochloric acid or pancreatin? Have you tried that as well?
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah,
have.
you tried the whole soup. You've had tried the whole kit and caboodle. So yeah, the emotional pieces, the emotional energetic piece is like the next chapter for you. So we'll get you those PTSD panels and see, how you do with those, what comes up for you, and give us some feedback. And then work on those nogiers that are related to the brain, like nogier D and nogier L and nogier G. And as you're working with them, give us some feedback and let us know how they're working for you, what kind of a difference that they're making.
Okay.
All right, Deborah, thank you so much for being
Thank
part of
you.
class
And
today, and thank you for your wonderful testimonies.
yeah, happy 4th, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all
Thank
the work that
you.
you're doing for your mom and your family.
Oh, thank you so much.
So really such a great group today, you guys. So let's just summarize a few things today. Go to my website, awakentotalhealth.com, to see more of the specials that are available today. I also have a weekly class, so if you haven't been there in a while, you can always come back to my Monday class. I'll make sure that I follow up with the registration for that. So we have a free class every single week to really encourage you to keep being part of a Genius community, continue to learn. Also, right now, I'm sort of solidifying, I haven't been able to talk to Lynette, but solidifying a class in Reno. So that will be coming up in the fall. And when I have the date all set, and we have all those arrangements set, then I'll be setting up the registration for that. And then I'll be heading back to San Diego kind of later in the fall for, I think, probably a level 1 and a level 2 class. If you want me to come to your area, like Florida's one that's sort of on my radar, or maybe the Northeast, please get in touch with me and we can set that up. So I'll be doing an in-person training in your area for the weekend, so you can really have a hands-on experience of the Genius and get to connect to other users, work on each other, talk about ideas, and really understand more of the concepts, dive into these greater concepts of biofeedback. And I know people who came to the San Diego training really were happy that they made the trip. They got such a deeper understanding of the Genius and are using it now in a way that they never expected, a much deeper experience for them. So the specials are on the website at awakentotalhealth.com. Definitely go there and come to the Monday class. Then we have some Facebook groups that I'll follow up with, and we'd love for you to join us on Facebook and keep in touch with what we're doing. I really super appreciate every person who's been on today. You've been really wonderful, just very, very good, positive feedback, you guys, and everybody who was a volunteer. I appreciate you volunteering. Send me an email and just go to awakentotalhealth.com, hit contact us. Let me know your questions. Do you need a demonstration? Do you need help downloading the trial? Do you want to know more about a certain topic? Do you want me to teach more about a certain topic? I'm always doing ongoing classes. We have a practitioner where you can become a practitioner. So go to my website, learn more about what we're doing, and just get in touch with me personally. I'm very happy to receive your emails and connect with you. Okay, everyone, have a very safe and happy and healthy 4th of July. Thanks again. Much love, much good energy, happy harmonizing, and thank you for everything that you do to help to uplift people in the world. Take care and be well. Bye-bye for now.